What a weekend. And I sit here and I say to you, what a weekend. I dare you to come up with a better weekend in recent memory. My God.
Local or national?
Local. Local.
Big weekend.
What a weekend. Panthers, they got it going again. Incredible 6-7 win. You know about that 6-7 win on 6-7 day?
All too well.
Come on. Inter Miami. They win the college football. They win
they
the
won that
MLS
too.
Cup.
They did
the
win that.
Canes, they're in the college football playoffs. Cyclones, and Dan decides to go to New York.
Football is back, Jack. Oh my, we've waited for so long. We're so damn excited that we put it in a song. Don't need no check downs. Give me big hits and quarterbacks. Keep your fantasy team from falling off the track. Football is back, Jack. Whether on the ground or through the air, when the chips are down and you throw a prayer, when your team is primed and on the hunt, it's 4th and 10, you refuse to punt. When the shoulder pads and helmets crack, that's how you know that football is back, Jack. Let me hear you say football is back, Jack. This high is wild and out of control, and we're gonna ride it every week till we reach the Super Bowl. Don't need no check downs. Give me big hits and quarterbacks. If you say this game's the best, I'll say it's a gag. Football is back, Jack. Football is back, Jack. Football is back. Football is back, Jack.
Look at us in Miami. Look at us in New York. Both spaceships up together. And I legitimately, Pablo, do not know where and how to start the local hour today because I've got Inter Miami winning a championship on one hand, and I've got Notre Dame screaming at the sky on the other hand. It's not even about Miami making the playoffs as much as it is about Notre Dame whimpering, rightly whimpering. And I genuinely feel bad for them, and I didn't think there was a circumstance under which I could feel bad for Notre Dame.
You're also wearing like 3 layers of clothing right now.
It's unbelievably cold here. I hate it. How is it back in Miami? How is everybody back in Miami? I want to feel Miami out here, the warmth of Miami. I want to feel it up here in New York. Let me feel it.
Oh, my God. What a weekend. What a weekend.
Let's go.
Of all the dramatic things, the Miami Hurricanes. That's what I'm talking about, Dan.
We're not going to talk about the Kings game.
No, we'll leave that alone. I was stunned that Zaslow started with the Panthers game, a 7-6 win.
Oh,
instead
you
of
know
Inter
about that
Miami winning the
6-7? Come
championship.
on now, Dan. Come on. 6-7.
I am having let's start with Inter Miami for a second here before we get to what everybody wants listening to this, which is the college football Miami Notre Dame stuff. But this is Lionel Messi's 43rd title, and I'm legitimately having a difficult time finding out where to put it on his resume. And I'm also having a bit of a hard time trying to figure out how to put it on Miami history's sports resume, because you've got the local teams. The Dolphins have won a couple of times. The basketball team has won 3 times. The baseball team has won twice. The Panthers have won twice. And then the University of Miami football team is the one with the most championships. And this feels to me like it's a good deal larger than the University of Miami baseball team winning a championship. The basketball team obviously hasn't won anything, but I don't know where to put it in the pantheon. So, Pablo, tell me here, like nationally, no one cares about MLS, right?
I would say that I really didn't think about it until I saw Mike Ryan doing the robot in Miami, and I was like, I wonder if any part of that robot is because of this team.
Mike Ryan went to the game.
It's a huge moment for soccer fans in Fort Lauderdale. during the December month.
Yeah.
Before the show, we were kind of bouncing around like, where does this rank on the list of career achievements for Lionel Messi? He has 43 titles.
Okay, when you say he's got 43 titles, like, what does that mean, 43
He's won
titles?
43 trophies.
Like, Michael Jordan's got 6 titles.
So-
Messi's got 43?
I think we've slotted it just behind a gold medal, an Olympic gold medal, just ahead of the Leagues Cup. Remember, this is not the first trophy that Inter Miami have won with Messi on the roster. So I think 31 sounds good. We have ranked it 31st on Messi's career achievements.
Okay, let me direct Mike instead of Pablo then for the editorial judgment on where it is we should start the local hour today, given your Homer biases, given the fact that you helped fly a plane in Texas over where the committee was to remind them that head-to-head mattered. I legitimately think, Pablo, that Mike Ryan and people of his voice actually helped change this because the committee was forced long before they had to do it to put Notre Dame and Miami side to side. And I believe arguing actually got Miami into the playoff.
I think it's never been clearer, and it's never been sadder that Mike Ryan is an actual bona fide power broker. He is actively changing the conversation. He is throwing dark money, which maybe is, Dan, your money, but maybe also just Mike's money. I don't know.
He didn't even
Who's
tell
funding Mike Ryan?
No, I said to Mike Ryan, look, Mike Ryan had a dark weekend, okay? Mike Ryan was confident publicly.
Dark money weekend.
He was confident publicly, but privately, the morning all of this was happening, he was dying inside because he's like, what do you think's going to happen if there are 2 spots for 3 teams? It's Alabama, Notre Dame, and Miami. He had all of the persecution complex. But one of the things he did, he pooled money to fly a plane over where it is, was it Grapevine, Texas, where the committee was meeting? And
That's
also,
a real place.
Didn't you put up billboards as well? Because I said, I wish we'd done that. And Mike Ryan said to me, I did do that.
Yeah,
I did put money into that. And then someone else tried to take credit for it, right?
Yeah. Lifestyle Miami. God, we love them. They own the Chargers in Battle Court. More on that in a moment. But yeah, I was part of a group that did that because head-to-head should matter. And I'm glad that it did. Ultimately, it was ridiculous that it didn't matter for a month. But yeah, all this stuff, it's ridiculous that this stuff is decided in a literal back room with 12 old rich white guys, and they're
Condi?
No, not Condi anymore.
I saw one woman, though.
There is
There's a
one
woman
woman.
in there, yeah.
There is a woman. But they're impressionable. And I told you on Friday's show, people were going to wake up to a whole new world where everyone was all of a sudden going to start stating the obvious. And we had Kirk Herbstreit, we had Nick Saban, you had Urban Meyer, you had Greg McElroy, you had all these people saying head-to-head mattered. And I was really confident entering that Big Ten title game where Mark Ingram, a Heisman Trophy winner for Alabama, is even saying Alabama doesn't belong in here. And I got really worried by how that Alabama game developed because Alabama.
You think the Bama fans are mad?
Dan, Alabama is the first team in the CFP era to not slide whatsoever in the rankings after losing their conference championship game, and they got blown out. They had -3 rushing yards. Miami rushed for more yards on Saturday than Alabama did. BYU slides because they got beaten in a similar fashion, and that's the benefit that benefits Miami. But I can't for the life of me understand why Alabama didn't move down. Notre Dame should feel wrong because they are better than Alabama. They are better than Oklahoma. But the discourse nationally was always about Miami and Notre Dame, and Miami always had the head-to-head.
Did you hire the nightclub plane? Like I'm like on Miami Beach and I see the like at Live tonight or 11 or whatever. Did you literally get the same plane? Because that's what it looks like.
It was very expensive because that plane departed from Opelika.
H2H batters Miami in feels like a threat, frankly. I mean, like when I say power, Dad, we're living in this time when politicians actively are leaving like their coalitions because they're afraid of the maniacs in their mentions who will send mail to their house and dox them. What Mike Ryan did in this billboard and that plane is basically say, we are going to spend money haunting you if you don't do what we want.
I do believe that Miami argued its way into this over the last month because it's true what Mike is saying, that all the voices were saying this except for Joey Galloway. Joey Galloway says that what just happened is very strange, and it is very strange. It's wrong, and it's going to end the bowl system as you know it. Look, you can't wrong Notre Dame like this and not have major change. One of the great things that I read is that Notre Dame now has it contractually guaranteed that if this happens to them next year again, they're automatically in writing, no matter what it is that they're doing with the system, because they have a contractual clause that if they'd had it this year, can you imagine if they had it this year? Can you imagine how crazy Miami would be if this had already happened last year and Notre Dame had a contractual clause that got them into a violent sports championship round with paperwork? And that's what Notre Dame has now. But when you have the athletic director, Pete Pavakwa, the wording he's using, he's calling it a farce. He's saying it's a shock. He's saying he's in utter disbelief. He's saying they feel like they were punched in the stomach. All of Notre Dame was watching that, waiting to see who they'd play. Notre Dame was sitting in front of the television assuming that this could not happen, that this was not something that was even possible. And I legitimately feel bad for them because they're right. The system is wrong and Notre Dame is right. Notre Dame is better than Oklahoma. Notre Dame is better than Alabama. Notre Dame is better than James Madison. What Notre Dame is not better than is Duke. I am serious when I say, if you told me before the year, here's a riddle. Manny Diaz is going to win an ACC championship before Mario Cristobal does, but Mario Cristobal is going to play for the actual championship that year while Manny Diaz doesn't. I wouldn't have known how to explain it to you. Like, I would not, having seen it happen, I would not have been able to answer the riddle, how does Manny Diaz go 7-5, win the ACC, but Mario Cristobal is the one who gets to play for the championship against Texas A&M. By the way, it probably goes without saying, that is by far Miami's toughest game this year. Texas A&M is, their next game is their most difficult game. I'm just glad I get to see them play another one. But Notre Dame's yanking its ball. You see what Notre Dame did? Notre Dame took away the money from the television networks, like took its ball and went home and said, we're not playing in a bowl game.
Yeah.
This is going to end the bowl system.
Oh, I like that take. By the way, so that's how Notre Dame does business, right? They do it like through official legal channels. They're getting rules and policy changes enacted. And Miami does this. They do whatever Mike Ryan's super PAC is doing. And the whole notion, by the way, of like the expansion of the playoff field, something that I just laugh about nationally is when this was announced, it was like, there's not going to be any of the drama because 12 teams is so many. Because, of course, like, who cares about numbers 10, 11, and 12? And here we are arguing, spending dark money because that's now not enough. 12 is not enough. We can expand this field as it happens in March Madness to 64 and still be mad about the 66th team. That is actively the magic of what the college sports system is, which is, by the way, yes, a giant bank that the people who put the most money in Notre Dame are now not understanding. I thought you wanted our money, and now you're not going to get our money. You're going to get Mike Ryan's money. Congratulations.
Amin, what do you have here?
I got a question for Mike. The sign said H2H matters, Miami in. Were they charging you by the character?
Great question.
It seems pretty obvious, yeah. There was another lieutenant in our Air Force that negotiated that deal. I just contributed to a pot.
So those 6 letters, major difference.
I mean, imagine, it's flying from Opelika. You got to cut corners where you can.
It's like the scene from The Three Amigos where this guy sent a telegram to the Three Amigos like, it's cost too much. I'll give you the 10 peso version.
I know that because I'm a movie guy.
Do you know what the rejected ones were, Mike? Were there other options? Were you part of the decision-making process on what would it would say on the banner itself?
That was workshop in the group chat, but I just, Venmo'd somebody.
Okay, so H to H matters. Pablo's got this right when he says it did sound like a threat. It sounded a bit, it's from Miami. You know that Miami, generally resorts to thuggery. And I believe that was threatening. You have no.
It was only slightly less threatening than we know where you live. That's basically what the message is.
We did.
We are single R watching you, single U to save characters.
Yes, we did know where they lived. But I think that what we saw over the last month, and I think Notre Dame is right to feel bad and feel duped by this TV show, which was...
That's the only thing they have the right to, is to feel duped.
Yeah,
That's it.
They should, but I
duped.
think the real injustice here was that the nation and Notre Dame was led to believe, maybe not for the first release, because Miami was not playing good football when they were ranked behind Notre Dame. Even I said, I understand this one, but if Miami gets it together, we got to right this wrong. And then 2 weeks in, I was like, this is absurd. That's the real injustice here, is that they were led to believe for so long that as it pertains
That's
to
the
Miami,
only injustice.
head-to-head didn't matter. They could have used 2 weeks to campaign against Oklahoma and Alabama, because I truly believe Notre Dame to be better than those teams. Notre Dame is deserving of a playoff spot. I've said that all along. They're just not more deserving than Miami.
I don't think so. I don't think they're more deserving than any of those teams you just mentioned right there. And the only thing Notre Dame can gripe about is that they were duped. That's it. Is that there were people going on television for 4 straight weeks telling you that Notre Dame is in, when the fact of the matter is they shouldn't have been in at that point.
Zaz, there were minus 3,000 on sportsbooks to get in up until that message came out.
You can't say all they have to be upset about is being duped. When have you been duped and not been upset? Like, that's the thing that they're upset about. When Bavakwa is saying that the television show for the last few weeks is a total waste of time, when he's calling this an absolute joke and a farce, there's no disputing of that. Oh, it is. They are absolutely right to feel wronged by this, because duped is you don't play football games to feel duped at the end.
You're right. They can feel wronged, but feel wronged because they got duped, not because they deserve to be in based on merit. They didn't deserve to be in based on merit. The only leg they have to stand on is, you said we were in, and then you told us we weren't. That's it. That's it.
No. I would say the other leg they have to stand on is they've got only 2 losses, while Alabama has 3, and they're two very good teams, and they're very close games, one of them on the road at Miami. Like, that's the leg that you stand on. Alabama's got 3 losses and isn't actually that good. We're better than Alabama. You're giving Alabama credit for a couple of 4th downs that they made against Vanderbilt.
I think the committee did the right thing when it comes to Alabama. First of all, Alabama was the number 1 seed in the SEC, and I cannot roll with the idea that if you lose your conference championship game, you wind up missing the playoffs. I can't roll with it.
To BYU.
Let me stop you guys here on this one, okay? This is what's disqualifying. Alabama lost FSU. That should be disqualifying. FSU won 2 of its last 9 games. FSU has 5 wins this season, 1 against Kent and 1 against East Texas A&M, which is not something I knew existed before I looked it up. Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Did you know there was an East Texas A&M?
How many Texas A&Ms are there?
That's another good question. Put it on the poll as well. How many Texas A&Ms are there, yes or no? When I say to you they lost by 2 touchdowns against FSU, a 5-win team, it's a disqualifying loss. Like, they've got 2 others. They've got 3 losses, and that's more than Notre Dame. But Notre Dame's 2 losses are to 2 teams we would all say are top 10 teams.
But then
I just found a West Texas A&M.
They like their agriculture mechanics out there in Texas.
You were saying, Zaslow?
I just feel like you're then doing the thing where the losses wind up mattering more than the wins. And while FSU's loss to FSU is as bad a loss as there is in the nation, it turns out, in regards to the teams in the top 25, Alabama's wins to me mean a whole lot more. They have great wins on their schedule this year. The wins need to count more than the loss, no?
The way they lost in the championship game, to me, should be something that makes them not be allowed to play any more games this season. Just stop there. The way you lost that game to Georgia, a team you already beat, okay? A team you already beat this season, and you usually do beat. You're the only ones who have beaten Georgia the last few years. And that the way that game went, I don't want to watch that as a playoff team.
To Dan's point, it's absurd that this team did not slide. I don't know what they did to be ranked ahead of Notre Dame in Tuesday's rankings. Yurachek was saying that they over 5-7 Auburn, they went for a couple 4th downs, and the committee was really impressed by that. You have 0 precedent for a team losing, especially that badly in their conference title game, and not moving. They were slotted. They were telling us that the committee, the big debate wasn't Miami, Notre Dame all season long. It was Alabama, Notre Dame. I don't know, even though Notre Dame is idle, I don't know how Alabama doesn't fall a spot. And then maybe Miami
Well, it's
doesn't.
because
even get
falling
in.
a spot means they don't get into the playoff.
My whole concern was that they were just going to use Alabama as this BS buffer team because they introduced this season the notion of direct side-by-side comparison as to where head-to-head only matters.
Although that's not what they were telling us for the last month, right?
No, it was absurd. I understand why Notre Dame fans are pissed. To their credit, no one's really saying Notre Dame should get in over Miami. Even Shane Gillis was like, I was kind of privately hoping that they would just screw Miami and we'd get in. They knew they didn't have a winning hand there. It just sucks that they didn't have the ample time to mobilize and campaign against the likes of Alabama and Oklahoma, Pablo.
So the key part of any debate, if you actually want to resolve the debate with an agreed upon winner, is to define the terms of the debate. And the committee just never actually consistently defines them, which is why on the back end you can have endless and understandable feeling of dupedness. Everybody feels on some level like they got scammed. Even people who got in are like, wait a minute, why are we matched up? Why are we doing 2 rematches, by the way, of regular season games that we've already seen? The thing that I'm curious about when it comes to how Miami feels, though, is do you guys want the system to change? What would you actually do differently? Because politically and economically, the reason I laugh about the planes and all of Mike Ryan's dark money is because there is no actual pressure for any reform. The games are going to be incredible, and self-evidently, right? College football, the number 2 most popular sport in the country.
But when Notre Dame says this in this voice, there is now pressure for reform. This will cause that pressure.
Well, but that's an open question to me because they are alone and they are historically singular when it comes to having individually measured economic pressure because they're not in a conference. But other than that, everyone's going to watch the games. And from a big picture perspective, are people going to actually agitate for revolt? Is that it just feels like this exercise that happens not by design, because that's giving them too much credit, but it just happens because, of course, it's going to happen this way. And so does Miami want anything to change next year? Is there actual, suggestion on how to make the system different?
The system remains stupid. Notre Dame is being so petty about its reaction to this that they're denying themselves $4 million, and they're denying their players another game that they may have wanted. There are seniors there who might have thought that they did not play their last game and now do not get the bowl experience, and they're doing that strictly to punish the television networks, the partners, and to allow their dismay to be shown.
To be measured.
Yes, to be measured. $4 million is not a small amount of money for Notre Dame. I mean, maybe it is for Notre Dame. It's not a small amount of money to give up on a principle. But lest you think that Mike Ryan is sane, okay, because you talk about his dark money funding of propaganda that did indeed argue Miami into the final games. This is the text I got at the beginning of that morning. I don't see any light. 2 spots, 3 programs. Guess which one they're going to bleep? December 7th, a date which will live in infamy. That is the last text I received from Mike Ryan. Mike, take me through your darkness and how it is you're crawling around nude on your bathroom floor and then collapsed in the fetal position around the toilet before the committee saved you.
Saturday was going according to plan, and the one thing that I couldn't account for was Alabama being defeated that soundly for Miami to have more rushing yards than Alabama on Saturday. I didn't account for that, and then I started getting really worried because the committee had already established if you lose your conference title game, there's always going to be some sort of punitive measure, and this is the first time that they decided no in what was probably the most lopsided example in conference title history. Yeah, there's a persecution complex, but I think it's deserved when it comes to Miami fans. They had normalized the most ridiculous thing for a month. I do want to give credit to the Notre Dame fans because they kind of know that they didn't really have a hand there when it came to Miami. And I understand why they're pulling the rug out from anybody that was excited to watch a Pop-Tart Bowl and say Notre Dame is not going to compete in this. I didn't want to compete in that joke of a bowl game where they make you a punchline. But I do also...
I went last year. That game's fun. How dare you?
I think for Notre Dame specifically, that decision, there's probably more to it than just hurt feelings. I think a lot of players are going to opt out because it's not important. And if you look at the schools that have opted out of bowl games, you have Kansas State and Iowa State, teams that have change at the head coaching position. And I happen to know like that is a possibility here with Marcus Freeman.
What?
Yeah.
What? What do you happen to know?
Great Scott, he happens to know. He happens to know. Gather everyone. Get the children. He happens to know. So wise.
Watch out for the New York Giants here. I think now that Marcus Freeman's season is over early, he generated a lot of interest last year, but Notre Dame kept pushing on and had a shot at a national title. Now that they are not in this college football playoff picture, his name, as Adam Schefter already alluded to, is going to be the hottest in New York circles. There's some Notre Dame ties there with the New York Giants, and I don't think we can discount that as looming over this entire opting out of the bowl game thing.
How does that wind up looking, Mike, if Marcus Freeman, if you're right, he does wind up taking the Giants job, but they opted out of playing a bowl game, and now he's available to go talk to, like, that winds up looking kind of shady. Then, right?
I think there's going to be a lot of evidence that you can piece together if Marcus Freeman does move on. I know he loves Notre Dame. He's not just going to leave for any job. He's not just going to leave for any NFL job. And he probably wouldn't entertain it if they were positioned for a deep run in the college football playoff. But my man was in New York last week. And while I haven't been able to confirm this through multiple sources, I have it on good authority that there have been conversations from the New York Giants to Marcus Freeman surrounding that head coaching job, and it wouldn't surprise me that the specter of him leaving is also one of the deciding factors here than just we got screwed and we got left out, so we're taking our ball and going home.
You know about that specter?
I'm getting to it.
Dan, to piggyback off of Mike Ryan's Notre Dame topic, can you go back really quick and talk about the contract that Notre Dame signed that says basically, hey, we're in the playoff anytime there's some sort of situation like that? Like, how do they get to do that?
I couldn't believe it when I read it. I was confused by it, and I want more details. I haven't done any reporting on it beyond that. I just know that if they're in the top 12 next year, they're guaranteed a spot no matter what the is talking about. I don't know how it is that they ended up getting that contract clause. It's a good question that you're asking. I would assume that a lot of people would want that clause.
I'm on it. I do have an update though when it comes to where Marcus Freeman is going. I have just found out that there is a Texas A&M University at Qatar.
That's a fun.
It's a real fact, by the way. That's an actual thing.
How many Texas A&Ms are there? Have you gotten the answer to how many Texas A&Ms there are?
I'm still scrolling.
Can I explain to people just very briefly what kind of insane space Mike has been occupying recently when he spits at you in the matter of a few minutes? Even Shane Gillis says,
I was going to comment on that. Like, this is how the sausage is made, actually. It's on Instagram.
Even Mark Ingram and Shane Gillis say he's just looking for allies wherever it is that he can find them anywhere in the world. Even Shane Gillis said, Zaz, I don't think you get to celebrate Inter Miami's championship. You declared dumbly that you were out on Inter Miami as soon as Luis Suarez spat on a Seattle staffer.
Okay, it's not like I decided to get out for no reason whatsoever. I didn't like the way Inter Miami handled and everything. I don't necessarily like what the team stands for. I will tell you, it's not like
they stand for a championship.
They stand for being unlikable. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I didn't want them to win. I did want them to win. I was glad that they won. I'm not rooting against them. It's not like I have another favorite team, but like I don't have the joy or like I don't feel it the way that I would have hoped that I would feel when Inter Miami won a championship.
Roy, do you have the access back there to the Kentucky Fried Chickens? I can't access that here in New York. No, you're being honest about that, but the thing you're not being honest about is you said you were going to watch the game. You're going to watch Inter Miami before the SEC championship game.
I saw the last 3 minutes. I did. I watched the last 3 minutes on my phone, Dan.
Yo, chicken time.
It's okay. I wasn't watching either. I didn't see it. Neither of them want credit to the boss.
Moss
I didn't know they won.
The Moss family that
Good
he
job
called.
for them.
That's all right.
That he called frauds at one point.
They play Port St. Lucie.
Huge weekend for the Moss family.
Let's examine that one for a second, because Mike is right. Not just for the Moss family, for David Beckham. Those owners were really emotional. They accomplished something in Miami that was really hard to do and has an assortment of obstacles in Miami that you're not going to get in other places in the United States, just because Miami is so incredibly weird about how it supports anything with dollars. And Jorge Mas, I was introduced to him basically when he was sitting next to Jeffrey Loria, pretending that he had the money to buy the Marlins when he didn't have the kind of money that you needed to buy the Marlins. But it's how he got into the game, and now he is going to be somebody who is one of the more successful real estate people that we have in Miami, because he's got this giant stadium coming in and got the best player in the world, and now got a championship. Like, you really do have to celebrate what this ownership group has done. I wonder, Pablo, if you believe the comp, or if you can help me with a comp on when you go out and get the singularly best soccer player to ever play, and you put him in a league that has a lot of soccer players who are not as good as him. Should Miami feel about this championship the way that, say, a city in Taiwan would feel if LeBron James at 36 or 37 years old decided to go over there and play against a bunch of Taiwanese basketball players? Because you went and got the best player in the world. He's clearly better than everyone he's playing against. He set a record for assists in a playoff series. The fact that they lost to Atlanta in the first round last year is one of the greatest upsets in the history of the sport. But what would be a comp on what Miami did in just getting the greatest ringer you can possibly get, and then ho-hum winning the championship, because that's what you're supposed to do when you get the greatest ringer you can ever get?
Yeah, I don't think the championship is the standard. I thought this entire deal, even based on how the contract, as you guys had reported, I think before anybody, was structured, was this is going to be a thing tied to viewership. Like, this is a deliberately popular product that will be measured through ratings. So the idea of, like, yes, Leo Messi won the title, the championship. The reason I am, like, waking up today and shrugging is because, A, Dan, you're right. Like, of course, it's Leo Messi, even though that was not guaranteed as recently as last season. The real question is,
as recently as the 71st minute of that game, it wasn't guaranteed.
But the question then becomes, like, all of this was structured to be this segue towards the World Cup also coming to America. America finally embracing this sport in a way that was going to be different, with Leo Messi as this giant lever. And so to me, it's not even about, like, how does Jorge Mas, who has a great, perfect, rich guy Miami name, how much does this do for the sport in general? And I don't know what the latest data is on that, but that's, to me, the actual standard of success.
I think that's a fair standard to apply here. I will say, in terms of on the field, they've knocked it out the park. Even off the field, this is a club that almost died before it ever got off the ground. David Beckham almost left this project numerous times. Jorge Mas was a lifeline as other ownership groups fell apart. And then in a big press conference, they made a lot of promises. Messi was one of the faces featured in this video. The hope, the promise that maybe this is a town that Messi could one day play in. Not only did they get Messi, they got Messi at a high level while he's still one of the best soccer players on the planet. He just had, in 49 appearances, he had the greatest MLS season ever. He appeared in 49 matches. He scored 43 goals. He had 26 assists. And now he got the trophy that everyone that was a casual sports fan said, well, isn't that the one that matters, even though they afford 3 different trophies in this league? Isn't MLS Cup the one that matters? And I know you made the Taiwan comparison. Like, he's playing opposite of Thomas Mueller on the other side. The competition is a little bit better. I understand in the eyes of the world, MLS is, not even mid-tier, a lower-tier professional league, but this is still really impressive. They were really good athletes.
I mean, help me with this then, because I just chose Taiwan for no particular reason. I was stumbling around with whatever the comparison should or would be on Miami getting the greatest ringer in the world and putting him in a league where the players are not what he is.
First of all, you guys are not going to disrespect the Taipei Kings. That is a class organization. They run a good program over there. We're not going to use them as a punching bag. But, I don't I think it bears noting other MLS stars that came over from Europe were way, way further down the line. They squeezed pretty much the last of the toothpaste out of the tube. And Messi came here relatively younger compared to those other ones. And, Mike said it's a lower tier level of competition. I mean, it is. Even when you name a Thomas Mueller, but really what we're talking about competition, we're not talking about the high end. We're talking about across the board with 22 men on the field. How many of them stack up?
Yeah. But, I mean, if you were watching that game, they were running circles around Miami. Miami did not have the pace
I saw
to
last
keep
3
up.
minutes.
To keep up there. This is a Vancouver Whitecaps team.
Vancouver controlled all the possession in that game.
In the second half, Miami had to be super efficient with their opportunities. They did not have the legs to keep up. The athletic advantage was with Vancouver, not with Miami in that game. It's a really difficult season. They play a lot of games. He's got old legs. He was super efficient with his opportunities there. I don't want to diminish it. They beat a team that had played them off the pitch in 2 previous meetings. This is huge for Inter Miami. This is huge for the Moss family because they had a whole bunch of bluster and they followed through on everything else. I do agree with Pablo that I thought the metric for success here was growing the game. And if you look at even attendance, which was something that MLS would always hang its hat on, that took a hit. The TV ratings, forget about it. The sport is less viewed now than when it was before Messi got to that league. So I think that is a fair standard to uphold. But in terms of on the pitch, getting the stadium, getting the best player, playing the best football, the Moss family delivered there. The rest seems to be an MLS problem.
How have we gone 30 minutes and not talked about the Cyclones?
Oh, all right. Hang on a second. Hold on.
We haven't talked about the Dolphins. We haven't talked about the Dolphins.
We're going in order of importance here, Dan.
Championships, Dan. Championships. Since the Cyclones won the championship, I don't know if you paid attention when you're out there.
Well, they're on their way to playing.
They have not won it yet.
Well, no, it's in the books. I guarantee.
They haven't won it yet.
We punched our ticket. We punched our ticket to Magic City Casino Friday, first toss, 7 p.m. It better be a madhouse at the Magic City Fronton. Everybody from Clone Cartel better be out there as we take on the Devils. The ownership group from the Devils and the ownership group from the Cyclones, they were in the very first Battle Court final. And now we come full circle in the last Battle Court match ever played at Magic City Casino as we are moving locations next season.
Whoa.
All right?
What do you
How
like
many
during
Magic
the game?
Cities are there? How many Magic Cities are there? Is that different?
Different Magic
Yeah,
City.
the different Magic City.
Not
Both
that
have wings.
Yeah.
But that's where the comparisons stop. But yes, the Cyclones are playing. They did not play a good game. We almost went to a tiebreaker. And then Barba had to come in as an injury replacement in the final match, effectively securing our spot there. And I had to give Ray Lewis a handshake and say, hey, get him next time, Tiger, as we move forward in what was essentially akin to the NBA bubble, closed to the public, just the VIPs there for this match. But on Friday, all bets are off, open to the public. We better hear you. We better feel you.
Ray Lewis went out there again. He goes out there quite a bit, doesn't he?
He owns the Warriors.
But I'm surprised how often he's out there because he's nasty when the competition starts. Like he's not fooling around.
I don't think he liked us clapping, and we kind of looked at each other, said, "Now that Barba's in there, let's just keep it cool because Ray has a history."
Zaslow, how did you feel about watching Tua on Sunday?
Unwatchable, Dan.
What?
I can't. I can't believe how low IQ a player he's become. He's brutal to watch. He's so bad. And you know what? It's shown us that Mike McDaniel might actually be a decent coach because he knows he can't rely on Tua, so he does what he's good at, and that's run the football. He's a great running coach.
Filter fish.
That schedule the rest of the way is pretty tough for Miami. Have you seen who it is that they've got coming up next? It's Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Tampa, New England. That's not.
You're thinking 3-1?
That's not going to go. That's not going to go well throwing behind the line of scrimmage with no A-chan.
Maybe the running back should turn to him.
I descend from exiles who lived on an island. I cannot tell you how much I hate the cold, but I am made to feel warmer by my New York friends arriving in mass to support what it is that we're doing around here. As I get a scarf I never wear tangled in my headphones.
That was embarrassing what happened
I
between
don't know how to wear a
segments.
scarf exactly. Hank Azaria is here, and before we get to Hank and his many voices and his many Emmy award-winning talents. I just want to play Michael Irvin's reaction to the University of Miami getting into the college football playoff.
I told y'all I sought the Lord, and he heard, and he answered. He answered yesterday with the games. I'm leaving the Potter's house right now. While I was getting the last bit word from the Lord, my phone just started saying, God said I ain't gonna even wait that long. Before I got out of church, it was bling, 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 and they all started coming in because we got in. Yes, sir, buddy, we got in. I'm heading home now. I'm gonna get in the locker room, and we gotta talk about this right here. I'm telling y'all, I sought the Lord, and he heard, and he answered, and he delivered.
Amen.
It's about how I thought that would sound. Hank, it is delightful to see you. You are usually very tired after you've done Comic-Con.
True.
What has that experience been? Tell me, how many of these have you done? What does that look like? Why do you go? Who do you go as?
I go as myself. It's an amazing thing at Comic-Con. I go really because they pay a lot of money, and I have a foundation, and it's a really sweet way to raise money for charity, and you meet fans, and you lay out a table. I have like 30 different whatever you want to have signed, like all Simpsons characters or whatever, or Brockmeyer, whatever it is, it's there.
What's the most popular? What do most
Simpsons
people?
things are the most popular.
You've done 150 voices on The Simpsons. Is that an accurate number?
That is a probable. I used to say I don't think it's accurate, but I actually do think it is accurate. Yeah.
You didn't have any voice experience, did you, before that?
Well, a lot, just growing up being a moron.
Talking.
Yeah. Tons, actually.
But you didn't have any professional voice experience.
I had
before
done
that.
one thing. I had done a voice at the time Roger Rabbit was popular, way back when. And Fox, in the early days of themselves, wanted to do a pilot that was similar. It was an animated dog called Hollywood Dog, and everybody else was real. And I was the voice of Hollywood Dog. That was my first voiceover gig. And then they knew me the pilot didn't go anywhere, but they knew me from that. So then I auditioned for The Simpsons.
Wait,
and Mo was the first voice I did there.
I'm sorry, I'm stuck on Hollywood Dog. So I'm finding out that there was a reverse Who Framed Roger Rabbit premise.
I know it was not reverse. Roger Rabbit was animated, and then everybody else was. Although there were a lot of other cartoon characters, because they had this dog that was animated running around Hollywood, and everybody else was real, and I was the voice of the dog.
Has anyone ever requested? I'm sorry, I'm lost.
Hollywood Dog at Comic-Con?
Hollywood Dog? No. Well, somebody once handed me some art from it to sign. I don't know if it was at Comic-Con or not, but. People will find whatever there is and hand it to you to sign.
Where did you think the voices were going to go when you did? You said you did Mo. The Mo was the first voice you did on The Simpsons.
Yeah, Mo was. I love Al Pacino, young Al. You know, Godfather Al, Dog Day Afternoon Al.
The best Al.
I'm dying here. Everybody's coming down on me here. That Al. So I was doing a play in Hollywood at the time. I was playing a drug dealer, and I was using my Pacino voice. And I got the audition for this cartoon show. So I did this voice there. And they said, make it gravelly. So to me, gravelly was Bruce Springsteen. So fun fact, halfway between Bruce Springsteen and young Al Pacino, you got Mo the Bartender. There's a mid-range in there.
I want to talk football with some of Hank's characters. I was trying to get together with him yesterday to watch some football, and all he was insistent upon is, I've got to watch the Jets, and I've got to watch the Jets. And I'm like, why do you want? Why do we have to watch the Jets? It's 15 straight seasons without making the playoffs. Why do we want to and have to watch the Jets?
You like an actual answer?
Yes.
Like, I'm a Jet fan. I can't help it. Believe me, I've tried to rehabilitate. I can't stop. And what Jet fans know is that very early on in the season, you are going to switch from rooting for the team to win to analyzing exactly how it's gone horrible, which is fascinating in its own way. And then you complain about that. And so, you're really up to the minute on how it's gone wrong.
Aaron Glenn, you're not a supporter. I can't imagine that you're a supporter.
Jury's still out, I suppose. I mean,
is it?
Yeah, I mean, there's a chance they've won. They're 3-3 in their last 6 games. Maybe he can.
You were transitioning slightly there into like a corrupt Southern defense attorney as you were thinking about how to spin Aaron Glenn's tenure. I detected a vowel being elongated there.
The voice went a little higher. Aaron Glenn, the jury's still out. I mean, it doesn't look great, but they're going to give him another year, I'm sure. So let's see. Who knows?
I want to analyze some of the games yesterday with some of your characters.
Let's do it.
How did Mo the bartender feel about Bills Bengals?
Yeah, I hate them Bills. Bills is them peoples is annoying.
Josh Allen's pretty good though. Josh Allen's
yeah, that's
pretty
part
fun
of
to
what's
watch.
so annoying. He's like Superman running around, and if he doesn't throw it, he runs it. Then he flew one time. Did you see him fly? He flew once.
They were down 14-3, and twice he converted 4th and 4s on plays that were just pulled right out of his ass.
Impossibly annoying, and the fact that he was drafted. I don't know. He wasn't that year when it was all drafted, and now you get this guy. He would just throw it as hard as he could every time. He couldn't hit, as we used to say, the side of a barn. And now he's the best guy out there. But the Bills will find a way to lose. That's what you can always take comfort in there.
That's not true. They won yesterday, though.
I mean, ultimately, they'll find a way to
ultimately,
lose.
okay.
Yeah, in the end.
What does Chief Wiggum have any thoughts on Jacksonville beating up the Colts and Daniel Jones leaving with an injury to the leg that wasn't fractured? The femur that wasn't, to the Achilles that wasn't attached to the femur that's fractured?
Yeah, well, I have a lot of sympathy for impaired people. I'm technically, ever since I can't fit into the largest size of the police uniform that they make. So I could go on disability if I so chose.
From being fat?
Yeah, from being. Well, we don't say fat, Dan. We say waistline challenged in police ranks. So I have a lot of sympathy for anyone who's, got those kind of challenges. And I don't really care about football per se, but at stadiums, cops get a lot of free food, which is why I go to the games.
Concessions are what you're big on.
I'm at every game, but I've never actually seen any of the game.
I do like the idea, though, of Police Chief Wiggum having to call Daniel Jones's injury over the police walkie-talkie.
Well, let's try that. We have a man who seems to have hurt himself, and now it's not me this time. It's a guy. He runs around in very, very tight pants, which I do too, but his are tight for a different reason. And he seems to have hurt his lower, what do you call the lower part, the lower region? There's a right and a left. Yeah, the leg, right, the leg. He seems to have hurt his leg.
I think he tore his Achilles, didn't he? Daniel Jones, did he tear his, is that, I don't know.
That's Greek mythology. I don't know anything about that.
When you came in here, Pablo was talking to you, and this seems impossible to me, that you are now actually a frontman for a band. I don't know how your wife feels about the endeavors that you partake in, because you do so obsessively when you do them. Hank is now performing. I haven't seen it yet.
It's incredible.
Have you seen it? Like, he performs as Bruce Springsteen in a Bruce Springsteen cover band, and I suspect he sounds a great deal like Bruce Springsteen, because he can mimic voices, but this has now become an undertaking that's been an obsession, correct? It's become unhealthy for you and your family.
You put a lot, and there's a lot to respond to in there. Put me on the clock. I need like 8 minutes. To be honest, my wife was sort of traumatized by it at first, which surprised me. I guess she spent a lot of her 20s dating guys in rock bands and didn't have the greatest experiences. And was like, I can't believe you're going to do this now too. And due to Springsteen, I keep hitting the mic. Good Lord.
You're an amateur. It's like you've never been around a microphone before.
I'm like a kitten with a toy with the mic. I imitate Bruce. I've been talking like Bruce since I was a teenager, since like hero, same as Al Pacino, and they all grew out of hero worship. Bruce was no exception. But singing like Bruce is a whole different thing. That takes actual effort and attention and music and singing lessons. And tremendous amount of, but I really love it. I am obsessed with that. It's like a kitten with a toy.
Well, where does it rank, though, with career joys? Because at this point, that Simpsons money is pretty good. You don't have to be doing anything. And
I want to make this clear. Hank seems insanely rich, and he's doing this clearly just because he has like some side quest check boxes
no, but he's
that he
touring.
wants to.
Like it's not a
It's
small thing.
immersive.
It's not a small thing he's doing late in life.
Yeah, no,
he has chosen to run a band that tours.
To go on stage with the possibility of it not going well. Like you're opting into like a high stakes thing regularly.
That was scary at first. I did it at my birthday on a lark, just to have fun. And I've told Pablo all this. It was like a reverse surprise party. I turned 60 and thought it'd be fun to tell my friends we're all Springsteen fans. Oh, I got a great cover band coming. Didn't tell them I had been working for months to front it. And it went so well. And we raised some money for charity that night and thought to keep doing it. And then I have gotten obsessed with it. I mean, I love Springsteen to an obsessive level. And it wasn't even on my bingo card like I could do that. And tribute bands are real things. I'm not like impersonating Bruce. I sound like him. I tell stories about myself and Bruce in the idiom of Bruce, the poetry, spoken word of Bruce. And we try to sound as exactly like the E Street Band.
But what does you obsessed look like when I say Kate must be going a little bit crazy with your pouring yourself into projects that aren't your family?
Well, I was telling you guys before we hit the air that, she understands, there can't be a lot of groupies, but also not zero groupies. That's not fair. Can't be too much drugs, but not no drugs. No, Bruce doesn't do those things. But there have been certain, like at first, it was no screaming like Bruce in the house before 7 a.m. because I would rehearse obsessively. And now I have to run concert dates by her and my chief of staff, Lauren. Everybody has to sign off first before I blunder into, Wichita to do a gig.
But is this taking up the majority of your professional time or interests, passions these days? You have a couple of different projects that major media entertainment centers make it very difficult for viewers and listeners to find.
Yeah. I only like to do things that are like, you really got to search to find these things. Yeah, it's mostly what I spend time doing, but I don't spend all that much time at. We play like twice a month, and I don't I don't go out on tour for 4 months or something. I might eventually when my son's in college, maybe, but I do spend the most of my time doing that. But Pablo's right. I'm the luckiest man literally luckiest man, maybe not even in show business, maybe in the world. And The Simpsons doesn't end, and so I can just do things like this.
What's it like for Bruce Springsteen to open yet another Simpsons residual check?
We're in the money.
Yeah.
Hey, Patty, look at this. Look at the zeros. Look at the zeros. I'm on your little smiley faces in them.
I was very excited to see that Brockmeyer is finally on Netflix. This passion project of yours, and that you've allowed us to go on a glorious ride with this character.
Yes, you have.
This character that was, I think, Pablo, you probably talked to Hank about this on Pablo Torre Finds Out, but the Brockmeyer project of him falling in love with old-timey baseball radio announcers and then deciding to make one debaucherous and lecherous and addicted to things. Finally, this is going to get an opportunity because it was on Hulu, but for some reason it felt like Hulu didn't have quite the reach that Netflix does now, and this seems like a real cool opportunity for the Brockmeyer franchise that you birthed out of nothing, really.
Oh, it is. And look, never mind Michael Irvin praying for Miami. I don't know who prayed for Brockmeyer to actually get on Netflix and be seen, but I want to thank him. And no, it was, it's actually interesting and sort of current to today. When we made our Brockmeyer deal, which we were lucky to make with IFC, which is an AMC company. Not to get too inside baseball here, but we were lucky enough to get a deal. At the time, they had their deal with Netflix when we signed on, which was 120 million subscribers at the time, and it's how Portlandia became a hit because people would actually watch it on Netflix. By the time we aired, they had switched their deal to Hulu, and IFC and AMC decided we're gonna we're going to make our last stand as a cable TV channel. We're going to only release it once a week on our IFC channel, which I don't know. Nobody saw it. And I literally went in and begged them weekly, like, please, it's a good show. We might even get some nominations. Can you please let people see it? And we just went down with that cable channel ship. And then ever since then, it's kind of been buried on Hulu. And I didn't even know. My social media lady called me and said, you're getting released on Netflix this week. I'm like, I am? Christmas came early for me.
So buried on Hulu, though, like, how does this work? Explain to me. This is something that you did. Brockmeyer was made guerrilla style in how many weeks? Like, each season took how many weeks to make because you had to do it on such a small budget?
The first one, we made 8 episodes in like 3 weeks. And then we got
That's crazy.
It was absolutely insane. I've never worked like that. The first season, I only memorized because we had all 8 written ahead of time because we had to, like financially, we had to have it completely down to a science what locations we were going to be at. There was no margin for error. And I only had memorized like 2/3 of it. And man, did I pay for that I had to spend every waking hour on the weekends memorizing what I didn't know. Then we made sure to write them so that I had them 2-3 months ahead of time. I can't tell you how insane this is in the television world. Nobody does this. So that I could spend 3 months memorizing it like a 120-page play. Like I knew the entire season was in my head so that whatever we shot that day, I was ready with it. And I think by the end, they like took pity on us and we had like 5 weeks to shoot 8 episodes.
Because it was the passion project that was, you hadn't done anything quite like that, right? Would there ever been anything close to what all of that was?
I had produced a couple of things that I started in a show called Huff on Showtime like 20 years ago. That was a lot of work, but I didn't create that. I didn't, help write that. And I genuinely produced it and starred in it. That was a lot of work too. But this was, I guess I don't really do things halfway. This Bruce thing has sort of it's one of the fun things about it for me is to do something for myself that normally big corporations pay me for. And it was nice at age 60 to sort of, it felt like a gift I was giving myself. But that's how I have fun.
How does this work, though? Like, is there such a thing of something great? Brockmeyer's great. Feeling sort of undiscovered, and then you get on Netflix and it has a rebirth. Like, is there a chance that now what happens with this is that the reach people discover comedy's not being done as well? I know that the studio got all sorts of popularity, but it just seems over the last 10 years, comedy's being done less well everywhere, is being tried less often elsewhere. Brockmeyer is really funny. Is there the possibility that Netflix allows it to have a rebirth?
Maybe if Michael Irvin prays for it.
But what are the stories? What are the history of Netflix having something and then making it bigger than it was before?
I don't know that I've heard of it. I know that I've been at this 40 years, Samad. I know that things either stand the test of time or they don't. I don't know how that translates into dollars and cents, but people look back and, what was it? The year that Dances with Wolves, which is a very fine movie, but it beat out Goodfellas for Best Picture, whatever. You're like, no, that wasn't right. So I'm not sure if it'll, pop. It'll break into Netflix's top 10 and become like a viral hit again. But I imagine more people will discover it. And as you say, it is really good. So I'm just glad that people will get to see it.
You have another project that you're here to promote that is also hard to find.
Actually harder, which I didn't think was possible.
I don't even know about this project. That's how hard it is apparently to find.
This is actually really good. It's a very, very, it's a dark comedy called The Artist, set in the Gilded Age, starring Mandy Patinkin, Janet McTeer. I'm in it. I played Thomas Edison in it, oddly. Also not on my bingo card.
How do you work up the Thomas Edison voice?
It's funny you ask, Pablo. I was reading it out loud. I'm like, my voice does not have enough gravitas, especially because he's sort of the straight man in this. It's a very sicko. It's set in the Gilded Age, and they use the C word like every page. Thomas Edison doesn't say it, but I reacted to it quite a lot. And It just didn't seem right as my voice. It's too modern. I don't know. And so I came up, I was like, it needs to be deeper and it needs to be more erudite and have weight. And it's Superintendent Chalmers is what it is.
I was going to say, I didn't want to out Thomas Edison.
He doesn't sound like Thomas Edison, a great inventor. He sounds like a superintendent.
He's Superintendent Chalmers, but apparently Gary Chalmers always wanted to be a great inventor, and he admires Edison very much, so I cast him.
But just as a matter of clarification, I'm finding out also that in the Gilded Age, they use the C word a lot.
In this version, they did. It's really good. And then you have to go on your computer, and it's the network.stream. The network.stream.
I feel like I'm about to illegally
Hank, you're at the
stream
top
a football game.
Hank, you're at the top of your game. Why is it that I and young people would have trouble finding in the age of streaming what your passion projects are?
This was not I was a hired gun on this. I had the same reaction you did. I'm like, what is this? And then I read the script. I'm like, this is good. And then I saw another show this guy, Aaron Rappaport, did with John Leguizamo. I'm like, that's really good. So I'm like, okay, he seems to know what he's doing. And it came out really good. It's just that I don't know what the deal with this little streaming service is. But I imagine they're hoping to punch through. It's what we were talking about before on the air, that there's many ways to skin this cat now.
Well, you are that way. I mean, what I'm now
basically
on.
go through me, yeah.
Yes, I am now on the network.stream, and I'm realizing that, yes, you use your actors. You use Hank Azaria and all of the people inside of Hank Azaria to make people aware. I mean, by the way, as much as we are the last people on earth who should be making fun of like some independent thing. Like literally, that's the premise of what this studio is in New York. Is like, hey, can this be plausibly a place where real people show up and consider it also legitimate? It is funny though when the URL itself is like, it's like dot stream. Okay, very good. It's like it's the
I
zone.
didn't know dot streams existed.
It's the
Honestly,
zone of streaming services.
No, but we're not the demo either.
I think somebody had a lot of money and said, I want to put out content. It's like self-publishing.
And God bless, by the way, like that sentence is truly my relationship with why I work for Dan. He was like, I want to make content. And I'm like, I am content. That is me.
That's what this was. And I don't, what do I care? What do I care, Dan? There's a nice script and they shot the things and they gave me donuts at the craft.
I want to talk to Claude from Along Came Paulie about Chiefs Texans.
Oh my God. Let me think for a moment. Chief, I did not see this game. Don't spoil. That was late game.
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. Yeah, that's my
Don't
mistake.
tell me.
So Hank's got this funny thing. Hold on. Let me tell the audience what Hank does here. Hank does this thing. I think he exercises while watching some games, and so he waits. He does not know what happened in the late games yesterday. He wants to know what happens in Packers Bears. He does not know, and so he avoids.
Wait, how does exercise preclude you from?
Well, what
Sunday
happened,
football?
Pablo, I'm going to answer Claude, who was in very good shape. If you saw.
I didn't want to say it, but
Is I record the games and then play them back while I'm on the treadmill or the elliptical, you say? Elliptical?
You're making your way through the world on Monday morning, hoping that no one spoils Sunday
I
Night
have
Football.
down to a science how to not have anything spoiled. All alerts are shut off. Nobody bothers me. Any friend who spoils, as they say in Goodfellas, they get whacked so hard they don't do that again
I
twice.
almost ruined Chief Texans because I forgot that's how you watch
I would
football.
have killed you.
So you only watch the 1:00 games. So as we sit here now, what are the games that you're most interested in knowing the results of that you do not yet know the results of?
Bears, Packers, and Chiefs, Texans. Yeah, and I haven't even seen the Nick game from 2 nights ago. I still have Magic Knicks in the pipeline.
And you've been able to avoid the result of Magic Knicks as well?
Everyone who knows me is so terrified of spoiling anything. I mean, nobody says a word to me about anything. And I find it easy to avoid. I find every bit of news so disturbing these days that I'm quite good at avoiding all of it.
All right, so
Wendell Carter had 3 assists.
No! How dare you? Don't blow it from me. Nah, this is ruined for me now.
Which way do you want Chiefs Texans to go? Even though it.
I want the Texans. I'm tired of the whole Chiefs thing.
And which way do you want Packers Bears to go?
That's a little more pick'em for me.
This is probably the most insane segment ever done on
I'm
this
more
show.
excited.
What would you hope that this game that the audience knows already
it's
happened?
a fun game. It's a fun game. If we want to talk around that Magic
Is
Knicks
there
game, we
any
can
more
too.
solipsistic approach
Amin,
sports talk
does Amin
than
want to
this?
give Hank any information on that Knicks Magic game from a couple of days ago?
No spoilers. Don't spoil it for me. They lose twice to the Magic already, and this was their chance for redemption. So don't ruin for me.
The fact that you know anything about the previous history of the Knicks and the Magic is itself.
I don't miss any games. I just
I'm
see some
realizing
of them
this.
delayed.
I'm realizing that you are arguably more committed to sports than people who are watching the games live
Yes.
because you're fighting to preserve that childlike sense of wonder.
I don't like watching when I know what's going to happen. Anything, movies, TV, sports.
Once it's spoiled, though, does that mean that no longer is something that accompanies you on the treadmill? Once a friend spoils it, that's it. You're not even going to watch it. You've lost that as they are actively, your friends, by spoiling it, are actively making you less healthy because they're keeping you from being able to do your daily exercise.
You're being sort of facetious, but that's kind of literally true. I put it there like, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Now I got to listen to Springsteen when I work out today.
So how do you watch it though? Do you speed through it, or will you watch Texans Chiefs the fourth quarter, or will you watch you'll watch a 3-hour football game?
It depends. I have this so down to a science. Depends on what I'm watching. I mostly root for, as a Jet fan, you normally don't care about the Jets quite early into the season. Although I will watch just to see. I kind of hate watch the Jets. Okay, and I'm very drawn to that. Then I'm always rooting for. I have 2 fantasy football teams which I enjoy.
What are their names? Team names?
We're in one league that is Godfather themed, and the name of my team is It Was an Abortion, Michael. That's the name of my team.
What a great question Pablo asked you, and how delighted you were to receive it.
Oh, yeah.
Because you wanted to tell everyone that.
My whole life has led up to that, pretty much. And my other team.
That's hard to beat. It's an abortion, Michael. It's hard to
won't.
beat, honestly.
I think you opened with what is going to be the winner.
I can't top it. The other team, I'm on with my cousin Jack, and we are the Jerk Cousins, is the name of our team.
When you say you hate watch the Jets, that makes it different than how you watch the Knicks and the Mets?
Yeah, basketball I have a little bit less patience for. I've always felt like the only thing worth really watching about a game, unless you're there, is the last 5 minutes. But I will quite often usually watch the first quarter just to see how things are going. Then I'll kind of speed through the game, and then I'll, if it is a close game, at some point in the fourth quarter, I'll watch it in real time. And of course, blow through the commercials, etc.
Do you have any instances where something happened during one of these sporting events that had not been spoiled for you, and you fall off of the treadmill? That something about your equilibrium gets knocked off because you don't usually run emotionally?
No, but I've never fallen. But another reason why I watch on athletic devices is because I get so worked up watching the Jets, Mets, and Knicks. And I scream profanities into the house. I've been told to tone it down. Like my son has to tell me my friends are coming over this afternoon, so please take it easy when you watch the Jets.
So that happens yesterday too. Jets Dolphins. That happens. You don't care like that. It has to have stakes, right? It's not a lost Jet season.
No, I will. I am a Pavlovian. Trained to scream the F word at the Jets. I mean, they're so worthy. Such ridiculations occur with their penalties and with their quarterbacks who miss throws that literally I would make. You cannot help but scream the F word.
Do you scream as yourself?
Yes. I don't mess around.
There's a deeper meaning there, I think. I dare say that Hank is Hank.
It's not, Mo don't care about the Jets,
Wiggum don't care.
None of the characters
No,
care.
they don't care about anything.
Comic book guy.
I'm a
doesn't care.
guy, he yells at, content that way. Worst episode ever. But no, sports is for me.
It's just for Hank.
Yeah.
Does your family understand this side of you or just merely tolerate this side of you?
They don't understand it. They do tolerate it, I guess, because they love me. But it is at times like someone scream that scared them. You know, somebody screams. Can I curse on this?
Yes.
Somebody screams at the top of their lungs. It took some getting used to. Like, what? They come running. What's the matter? Like, the Jets is what's the matter.
Yeah, Tyrod Taylor. We're in the Tyrod Taylor portion of the schedule.
It's mostly directed at Woody Johnson, quite frankly, these days. You know, that's another reason why that's what I'm reduced to, is like doing like the complicated math of how the trickle effect from Woody Johnson ruin everything has created this horrible play I just saw.
But how does this change like your viewing experience, your relationship with sports to hate watch a team you love? Because this is not your relationship with the Knicks and the Mets. I mean, maybe it was.
It goes off and on. You know, since Steve Cohen has purchased the Mets, it's much more about just enjoying the product. I don't know what changed at MSG, but somehow Mr. Dolan decided to hire Leon Rose and Worldwide West and let them do their thing.
He went to build the Sphere. Dolan got distracted by the kitten cat toy that is the Sphere.
Yes, maybe that is what happened. But I'm grateful that they have a good product now. We can enjoy them again.
The Sphere is flailing. Like they're realizing that it's really hard to pay $1.5 million in electricity a month and have to pay for the upkeep of 100,000 LED screens, and they are really struggling when you don't have casino money or hotel money. You got to fill it only with Bruce Springsteen's cover band because you need the events to bring people there.
We'll play the Sphere. I'll play the Sphere. I can play the Sphere.
What are the highlights? I want to hear more. I really do. I know you did talk about this with Pablo, but this is new to some parts of our audience. The Bruce Springsteen cover band experience, you just said it's at the top of your list in terms of things that you've gotten to do, because you legitimately don't have to be doing anything creatively. Never mind, memorizing 120 pages in a couple of months, as if you were doing a play. You're basically making all of your own creative choices, and this is a passion project that offers you, nobody wants to pay for this. Like, nobody's going to help you with this.
No.
Only customers who would come see it would pay for it. But it's not something that you're embarking on, something that is strictly you funding your own imagination.
I've actually given this thought. There's many levels. I love this music very much. It's a way to literally keep it alive. I mean, I got very, very nostalgic turning 60. All that music from that era started meaning a different thing to me. At the top of that list being Bruce music. I've discovered that singing, this is scientifically proven, your vagus nerve, it's very healthy for your vagus nerve really likes it. It's very calming and energizing at the same time. It's like a chanting meditation.
Even singing like him, huh? Because that doesn't seem his form of song seems less relaxing, that it's less meditative than the average singer's soothing voice.
Well, there's something about a rock and roll scream. Like Bruce sometimes really screams that rock and roll scream. And I discovered in trying to imitate it and unlock it, like especially the way he cuts loose on songs like Darkness on the Edge of Town, there's like a primal, I think, teenage anger and sadness that is contained in that sound. It was like therapy. It was almost like I unlocked like sadness and anger I didn't know I had going back from age 15. It really is like sound therapy. And there's nothing like playing I love this music.
If I could describe for the audience the smile that just stretched across Dan's face as he revealed that actually this is all about your buried childhood trauma, Dan's like, could we have not started with this? He would have spent the last hour.
The idea that he finds catharsis in screaming for something he's buried for 45 years in the depth of his soul and feels it while singing, like that didn't realize it before, but realizes as the sound comes out of his mouth. That's unbelievable.
It was. I started to actually cry, and it's just real joy for me. And to play with all the kids in the band, they all could be my children. They didn't grow up with this music, so they all had to learn it. So it was like introducing them, and now they love this music. And it's like a family. It's all the parts of show business that I really love without all the parts I hate.
Without the bureaucracy. So the fact that you're doing it on your own, funding it yourself, allows you to make all the choices for yourself and doesn't have interference. Where do people find it? Streaming.net?
No, we're easier to find. Just go on our website, easystreetband.com, and you'll see we're playing in the city. We're playing at Sony Hall January 11th. We'll be in Aspen and Crested Butte over the holiday. And we got a bunch of dates next year.
These are undertakings, correct? To tour is an undertaking.
No one's dying.
But your family is having to go to Crested Butte with you.
Well, this is another great thing. They love to ski, my wife and son, so they were going to Aspen anyway. I usually sit it out because I don't like it, so I saved the money. But I booked 2 gigs, so I get to go play rock and roll, and they ski.
You know what? I'm sorry. I've Googled what Crested Butte is. This looks like a nice place.
It's beautiful. It's amazing.
Hank is not slumming it.
Wait a minute. You think Hank's family is skiing in some sort of whatever the equivalent is of a third world nation?
No, you're talking
we
about
play
Butte. I'm like, what is that, North Dakota?
We play working class towns too. We do. We go everywhere.
Hank, it's lovely to see you. We're out of time. There's never enough time. Thank you for being with us. I'm glad we didn't ruin Chiefs, Texans for you, or Packers, Bears.
I thought for sure it was going to get ruined, so I'm looking forward to it.
I'm still contemplating doing that right now.
Don't do it, man. Ask any of my friends. You don't want to earn my wrath like that.
Look at him. That sounds threatening.
I know.
I get really pissy about it.
You've sort of described towards the end here a cult. You have all these people who worship you as Bruce Springsteen, who they've never met otherwise, and now you have all these people who are sort of distorting reality to make sure that Hank Azaria gets a bespoke version of professional sports' most popular thing in America.
I look at it more like I've learned to ask for what I want, and if you ask, you receive sometimes.
Nice seeing you, buddy.
Good to see you, too.
People are frantically behind the glass. Lewis is here, by the way. And he is frantically, he's like running around like he's overseeing a slowly burning space shuttle.
Yo, you remember that scene in 24 when they locked down the glass and there was like gas coming in, and like the chubby dude that was like the tech guy was behind the glass. He was just like, no, that's what Luis is doing right now.
Yeah, he's a little scared because I'm not hitting the right buttons, and we're trying to merge. We haven't done this before, where we merge live New York and Miami studios, and now we've got Mero comes in, and he won't shut up. Right?
Dan explicitly was like, "Can you please stop talking?"
Everyone was trying to give me instructions so that I wouldn't do what I just did, but you're coming in here talking about
cigarettes.
Cigarettes
where
it is that I should have watched the World Cup draw if I wanted to know what was going on with Haiti. And it's like, I couldn't get Mero to shut up, but I'm excited to have him here, and I'm excited about what it is that we're doing this week in combining really the dream projects that Meadowlark has birthed here between what Pablo does and what we do in Miami. I wanted to bring in Amin here to ask you about whether or not Giannis is coming to the Knicks.
No.
Or you don't want Giannis?
No.
All right. I mean, tell me what's going on with Giannis. What do you expect to happen here over what you've seen happen over the last week?
Well, Mark Stein's been reporting that the Bucks are telling everybody they're not listening. They're not listening. They don't want to trade Giannis. I don't know where this is coming from. And pretty much 29 teams are like, yeah, right. So they just keep calling them and say, hey, what about this? What about that? But I'm more interested to hear from Mero. You saying no to Giannis?
No, hell no.
Why hell no?
Nah. Listen, okay. This is, y'all, listen, y'all know ball more than I do. I will say that, claro y pelao. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all are more avid ball knowers than me. I watch, and I, what's the correct term?
Vaguely conscious.
Vaguely conscious. I was trying to think of wagering. I will wager on occasion. Okay, so in order to wager with what I'm saying, intelligently, you got to watch. The Knicks have started to gel. They look good. Even though Desmond Bain was playing dodgeball yesterday, with OG, that was phenomenal. I loved it. But they don't look bad. They looked in disarray in the beginning, and now they don't look like they're in disarray. They're winning games. They're covering. Okay, which is the most important part. And I'm not mad. Don't disrupt it.
I mean, this is always interesting to me when a fan base falls in love with their Hartensteins. They did this a couple of years ago. They didn't want him traded, and now they've got Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns, and they don't want to screw with that, even though we've seen what the ceiling of that is.
Okay, so ball knowers, please break this down to me. How do you make Mitchell Robinson and Giannis Antetokounmpo, okay, work on a team together. You need shooters, and if you are going to get
you're
Giannis,
worried about how Mitchell Robinson's going to fit around Giannis?
because you got to get Cat is out of here. If you're going to get Giannis, listen. The Bucks are not going to trade Giannis for Deuce McBride and a couple second rounders. That's not happening. So you're going to have to do the Melo thing all over again and be like, yo, here's everybody. Except with the Melo thing, I was okay with it because
you have co-hosted a podcast with Carmelo Anthony.
Also, that part. But like previously, predating that, also I knew Timothy Mozgov was a bum. So I was like, is this guy, this big goofy Russian, is holding up this trade? Get him out of here. Shout out to Wilson Chandler, everybody else. This is a different situation. Karl Anthony Towns is the best shooting big man in all of the NBA, period. I don't want to hear any argument to the contrary, and I'm not saying that because he's Dominican. I'm saying it because it's the truth.
I feel like there's a small percentage at the very least that is saying it explicitly because he's Dominican.
He's 8.5%. You know what I'm saying? Conservatively. The team looks good. There's a chemistry, there's a flow.
16-7.
Yeah, I'm not
second in the East.
Yeah, not mad at the second in the East.
I think that he speaks for a lot of New York and a lot of fan bases when they fall in love with the thing that's 16-7 that's scrappy, and you bring Giannis in, and it becomes a different thing. But it's not going to be worse than 16-7.
Do y'all not think that Giannis is right on the precipice of being a bum? Not a bum.
Jesus.
Not a bum.
He had his best season last year, I think,
right.
statistically.
He learned how to shoot a jumper last season. So it's like now he knows how to shoot an elbow jumper. You're going to trade every shooter you have on the team to get him in there? We don't got picks. What are we going to do? Call Sam Presti, bro. Make something happen over there.
I mean, what are your thoughts here? Like, because I remember the 42-40 Miami Heat of Lamar Odom and Karan Butler and Brian Grant
What
not
a
wanting
team.
to trade for Shaq. Not wanting to trade for Shaq. Like,
No, we gotta give up
they fall in
Karan.
love with the scrappy team.
That's crazy. This is not a scrappy team. All these motherfuckers are making $40 million. What's scrappy about that? I'm scrappy. I don't got 40 mil every year. Can it, clock it? Stop. Karl Anthony Towns, all these guys are all-stars. Mikal Bridges, bro, you traded all those picks for that guy to space the floor. I'm using all these, like, basketball cliches. Space the floor. We need spacing. You know what I'm saying? Giannis can't shoot no threes. That shot 20% from three.
I want Mero to moderate a panel at the Sloan Sports Analytics Conference.
Come on. Get me on Basketball Reference. You know what I mean? Just hip firing. I don't want Giannis. I mean, I'm just saying, like, he's a generational guy.
Yeah.
I agree with that. He's phenomenal. I don't think he fits in with what's going on. Also, he's mad buns, guys. Are we forgetting about this? This is New York City. The first bad game he has, the Milwaukee reporters are mad nice to him. They ask him questions. Oh, Giannis, do you consider this season a failure? And then remember, Eric. Eric, you asked me this. You asked me this before again. And then I tell you it's not failure. It's not failure. Tell the New York Post that's not failure. Come on. They're going to be like Greek yogurt. They're going to have his head popping out of an Oikos bottle looking crazy. They're going to put his head on a gyro meat thing, and he's going to be getting sliced by every New York Post beat reporter in the world. This is New York City. If you suck, they're going to be like, yo, you suck. Even if you suck for 30 seconds of an otherwise tremendous game.
Are you going to allow Amin to say anything?
No,
Yes.
let him. He's cooking.
I'm
let him
sorry.
cook,
He's
man.
about to slather Amin in white sauce and red sauce.
Tzatziki.
Come on.
Come on, man. They'll have a parade for him in Astoria. What are you talking about? This is like a dream come true. Like, I cannot think of another player going to a city simply for like the demographics between the Nigerians and the Greeks in New York. They would have
forget it.
A parade that would never end. And to me,
This
it's
is
like
what I'm saying.
when you say you don't want to mess this up. This is what I ask you. Realistically, how good is this team? Is this a championship team? You think this team can win a championship with no additions, just this team?
I think this team with some bench additions. That's the problem. It's the bench. It's depth. You know what I'm saying? I think with some bench additions that are not absolute bums, this team is a championship team. You know what I mean? It's just really about depth. You see what happened? They took out the starters. Bench came in. Lead shrunk. Got to put the starters back in. If we get into a situation where we don't have to do that, I say we like I'm on the team, then we're good. But Giannis, man, I don't know, dog. It just feels very, as a lifelong Knicks fan, I mean, it just feels very Nicky. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, let's go get the selling mad jerseys and everything will be fine.
I just don't think there's anyone outside of New York who believes the Knicks are a championship team with a couple of bench pieces.
I'm fine with that. You know what I'm saying? Because nobody thought the Miami Heat was a championship team to go to the finals. You know what I mean? When they had that little run where Jimmy was doing his thing.
Because they weren't a championship.
But they weren't.
You know what I'm saying? But they got there. They got there. Every year it's a team that's not supposed to get there that gets there. Everybody's saying it's the Knicks. Listen, until Jason Tatum comes back, the East belongs to the Knicks. I don't care what y'all say.
I don't know
Mic
how
drop.
Mero feels about football. Are we still in the place, Pablo? I've been saying this here for a few months now, that the biggest story in football whenever the Chiefs lose, doesn't matter what else happened that weekend, it's the Chiefs losing. It's not the Chiefs winning, and it looks like
What is Mero doing? What is that?
That's the Shador.
Oh, you're showing your watch.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The Shador. You know what time it is.
losing to Tennessee at home
Losing
time.
to Tennessee. But he's on the Browns. This is what everybody keeps saying. Like, yo, he lost. Bro, he plays for the Browns. Like, that's what they do. They lose. You know what I'm saying? Like, he did his thing.
I just tried to talk about the Chiefs and Mahomes, and you took me to Shador off of that football Sunday.
Let's go. Let's get into it because that was a hell of a game. The Chiefs. Yes.
Well, Jamel told us last week. Jamel told us
Chiefs
that
are fried.
she will not criticize Shador Sanders because he represents something to black culture that is not going to be criticized. That Shador Sanders, Jamel, who can criticize?
Yeah.
Jamel's like, nope, not going to say anything bad about what he represents as an avatar.
If he plays like ass, I'd be like, he plays like ass. But I like that he's confident. If you can play like ass and still maintain your confidence and bounce back and not be ass, that's the best thing you could be as an athlete, right?
But that's what when you're watching football on Sunday, that's Shador's the one who's got your attention. That there was a lot of bad football played yesterday. There are a lot of games I was not interested in.
I'm a Giants fan, my guy.
Washington, Minnesota, no thank you. I don't understand how the Saints did what they did yesterday other than football happens to ruin Tampa's season. But are we still in a place, Pablo? I don't know how you watch football on Sundays when you're not doing daily shows anymore. Is it Chiefs losing is still the biggest story on Sundays?
Yes, because the season has been, like, generally speaking, like, mediocre. And the question is always, like, if you're to ask me to wager on who's going to win the Super Bowl, I think until last night, I would have said, give me the Chiefs. And now I'm watching Travis Kelce drop passes. I'm watching Rashee Rice drop passes. I'm watching the team around him, as well as Mahomes himself, just not feel like... And I've held out so much hope that, like, Mahomes is this magician that by the end is going to, like, make the woman not be two severed pieces, but like one human that's alive. And I'm like, I think your assistant's dead. Like, that's my concern. And so the Chiefs, by the way, it's funny, just like the spectacle of this too. If you're the NFL, in that box, right in the Kelce box, there's Leonardo DiCaprio watching the Texans just like curb stomp the Chiefs.
It's like, I don't like this dude. I don't like it. I don't like Trav, man. What's going on? Come on, dude. You got to fix this, man. Dude, Tay-Tay, you're fumbling the ball, bro. It is the story, man, because it's like Kermit has been the story, man, for like the last how
that was the worst game he's ever played was last night, Mahomes.
You know what I mean? So like, you know, for real ball numbers, it's like, all right, bro, you have never been this ass. This is shocking. You know what I mean? And to Pablo's point, it's like, wow, you have the capacity to be this ass. And if you are this ass regularly, we're not going anywhere.
Well, but I think the Texans are the best defense in the sport, and they did that to him. He has not been ass all season. They've been fine statistically. They just haven't been winning their one-score games. But what he was yesterday, that's not – last time we saw that is when he was running around loop-de-loops because he had all his offensive linemen gone in a Super Bowl and Tom Brady beat him. That's like – what you saw last night, 3 interceptions, that's not something that he does at all.
Hasn't happened since 2022. I believe.
Yeah.
3 picks for Mahomes.
But my dad says all the time, he's like, Papi, let me tell you something. Every empire must fall. You know, you think Genghis Khan, where he's now?
That's right. That's a good point.
Muerto.
Yes, well, ¿dónde está?
Julius Caesar, ¿dónde está?
Yeah.
Muerto. Everybody that you think is going to rule the world forever, they eventually de muerto.
I like Mero's dad as like a Dominican Henry Kissinger.
You know what I'm saying? He's, you know what I mean? He's very, you know what I mean? I was going to say Machiavellian. He's not. He's a very good guy. Shout out to my pop, Tito.
Roy, can you get the sound, please, of Wayne Gretzky mispronouncing an assortment of names because we decided
Speaking
to bring
of geopolitical strife.
we decided to bring Wayne Gretzky out as part of the World Cup stuff on Friday. Let's hear from Wayne Gretzky as he tries to make his way through a map.
Yo, what's in Canadian whiskey?
Caraco. You don't think that Wayne does a lot in the way of speaking a great deal of Spanish? You don't think that Wayne does some Spanish flair accents on his countries?
I've been to Canada. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to them. Not a lot of Latinos up there. I would speak to people that I identified as like, yo, you are a Caribbean, you are Afro-Latino. I can see it in your features and your face. And then they'd be like, what, go on, my youth? No, I'm Jamaican. I'm just very fair-skinned.
I make the mistake so often in Miami. Anybody who's brown, I just start speaking Spanish. I make that mistake all the time. And then they look at me and I don't speak Spanish in an accent that's clearly not as Spanish.
Like, no, my friend. No.
Can I just point out that, like, Wayne Gretzky, just in case you're not watching that clip, his job was to read the names of countries. Like, in the realm of, like, you had one job, his one job was to know what Curacao is.
Caraco. To his... in his defense, shout out to Wandale Robinson because I announced his pick at the NFL draft. I forgot what year it is, but he's doing his thing. Stud, wide receiver, love him. They give you the card, and it has like the name, the university, the position, and then under it in like 16 different parentheses and alternating caps, it tells you how to say the phonetically. So whoever was doing the cards should have gave Wayne, an old Canadian man, a card that had the phonetic.
You think they didn't though?
I don't think they did. Or maybe he's just like, you know what? I'm so good at Caraco. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, he's talking about like North Macadamia nuts.
I was going to say, it would be one thing if that was the only thing, but there were other names he had to pronounce that went roughly as well.
Hey, man, y'all ain't going to do this to the great one. He not here to read. While you nerds were studying and learning how to pronounce things, he was nice with that stick. Now you guys want to...
Hey, yo, that's crazy.
Yeah, hey, yo.
That was insane.
Caraco.
Nah, he said North Macadamia nuts, man. He said Mexico. He said a bunch of wrong.
Wendale Robinson, you introduced him at the draft?
I did. Yeah. How fast can y'all look that up? I think it was 2023. God damn it. We are
2022.
22? Yeah.
Where does that rank in terms of strange sports moments that you found yourself in? Because I've got to imagine you've got some pinch me in you just sitting next to Carmelo doing a podcast.
Yeah,
regularly.
no. The number one for me ever of all time was I did some stuff with Derek Jeter for the captain when it was like coming out. And it was me, Jeets, Dave Winfield, Willie Randolph, and Reggie Jackson, like walking off the field at Yankee Stadium with the like playing in the background, and it's just it looks like a movie scene, Doug. Like we're walking towards the camera, and we're just like, oh. I'm like, yeah, Dave Winfield, yeah, we're peers. Yeah, this guy, that was like number one. But that was up there. That was up there.
You're of the age. Dave Winfield was the first baseball cards that I had of any kind. Dave Winfield was my favorite first player of any kind.
One
just
of the greatest.
Because I couldn't believe it. But I thought you were too young to have Winfield be that for you. Jeter had to be that.
Yeah. Also, I wore an Águilas del Cibao hat, not a Giants hat. That is a Dominican League.
Also, your sunglasses indicate that you were also vaguely conscious.
Fried. Yo, by the way, right before I did this, there was a guy that announced the Minnesota Vikings pick who Dan Marinara saw. I don't even know the guy's name. He was a quarterback from like the 60s. I don't know whose idea was to put everybody back there and have an open bar and have a bunch of dudes with allegedly CTE back there drinking hard liquor. So this dude went out there. He was like, when I got drafted to Minnesota, I was like, I don't want to go there. It's cold as heck. And then I started to settle into things, and I wondered what my offensive line was going to be like. And we had Patches Mahoulian, who was one of my best friends. We used to drink bicarbonate soda together and watch the Bulls, and watch the ponies. I'm like, what is this guy talking about? So then the producer lady with the headset is like panicking. It's still demure white girl. I'm like, yeah. I was like, yo, shorty, come here. I was like, are you running this? And she's like, yeah. I was like, go out there, get this off the stage. He's talking through the music. And she's like, I was like, just go do it. I was like the angel on her shoulder. I was like, go tell this, go in his ear and say, you are taking too long. Like that. And he will get the fuck off stage, I promise you. And that's exactly what happened.
So you're alleging that all of the people who went out there were drinking too much, and that the NFL was throwing people in front of live microphones. Drunk, and with some CTE.
Yeah, except for Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders, very polo tucked into the khakis. Looked like he was going to help me with my Dodge Durango. Like, just very nice, humble, down-to-earth guy. Not drunk at all. Stone cold sober.
I'm trying to find who the guy who announced the third-round pick for the Giants in 2022 was, but I'm having trouble when I Google Dan Marinara sauce.
You're having trouble finding what it is that he was a 60s quarterback who had too much to drink, who announced a draft pick after Maro in 2022.
By the way, the wildest assortment of people to announce picks, because before that guy, it was like some FaZe streamer kid, and I was just like, holy. I was like, "What? This is the simulation for real.
Casting
this is
a wide net. They're trying to get as many different demos represented as they could.
Yeah.
As are we. Tony, are you ready to do Refran del Dia with the kid Maro?
Born ready, Dano.
Let's do it.
Damn, shit always gets me.
¿Qué lo que, Mero? Dame luz.
Hey.
Estamos aquí activos con mi tigre. Tú sabes que lo que es.
Mira, estamos aquí, estamos activos. Miami está en los playoffs, ¿ok? La cosa está, las vibras están, oye, encendidas. Pero today's Refran del Dia is, let's spin the wheel. Today's Refran del Dia is Casa del Carajo. Would you like to explain that one, Mero, what it is in Dominican culture?
Yes. Casa del Carajo, for all you non-Spanish speakers, Casa del Carajo is a 1-to-1 translation for West Bumble. You know what I'm saying? If you say, yo, I live over here and people, and you're trying to get people to go there, the first response is going to be like, don't call you about Casa Carajo, bro. Yo, that shit is 20,000 miles away.
What's the literal translation? It's House of Hell?
House of Carajo.
Carajo, actually,
what is
a secondary...
Also,
hold on, a secondary explanation. So carajo is actually the top of a wooden ship where people would look out. So like a lookout post, people would send, oye, vete pa carajo, to go out to the lookout post to look for land with a telescope.
So wait, so what's the literal translation of the word carajo? You're saying is
go to the crow's nest.
The crow's nest.
In the pirate ship.
Yep. Crow's nest in a pirate ship is el carajo. So when it was obviously very far away, that, oye, vete pa carajo. Eso está en casa del carajo. Very far.
Also, bonus, Carajo Land. If you live mad far, you don't live in the name of your city. You live in Carajo Land. Yo, Pablo, man, he wants to do a dinner party, but that lives in Carajo Land, bro. We're not going over there. We're gonna empty the tank.
Is Mero, as a proud Hispanic man, ready for a Cuban Heisman Trophy winner?
Antonio Mendoza.
No, Fernando Mendoza.
Fernando Mendoza. Yeah. Well,
uno de ellos.
Uno de ellos. He got a brother named Antonio, I'm sure.
Antonio is good, but Fernando is even better.
Yeah.
Like, Fernando is a Cuban name.
Yo, which, by the way, when he opened his mouth, I really wanted him to be like, everybody say that we couldn't do it.
I don't think there's anyone who sounds less like the guy you're describing than the actual Fernando Mendoza.
Yo, I was like, is this guy from BYU? Like, who is this? And I was like, they up the graphic. This is Martin.
This is Frank Medichino.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Mike, what is Columbus doing in Miami as part of Fernando Mendoza's Heisman campaign?
I was driving down the turnpike in Kendall, and I saw Heisman Mendoza billboards driving down. So it's been a big weekend for the Columbus crew when you consider, not the MLS team, the actual people that went to Columbus. When you consider the Mendoza thing, the University of Miami, you referenced how Mendoza sounds like. Let's play some of that post-game interview sound there, Roy.
Oh, congratulations, Indiana, the Big Ten champs. How does that sound?
It sounds so beautiful. I want to give all the glory to God. We were never supposed to be in this position, but by the glory of God, the great coaches, great teammates, everyone we have around us, we were able to pull this off. Whoever thought the Hoosiers would be here, but now the Hoosiers are flipping champs. Let's go.
Flipping champs. Bro, you're a kid. You can say, you know what I'm saying? You're overcome with emotion.
I want to hear that again because that could not have sounded any less Hispanic.
He sounds like Morty from Rick and Morty.
No, what to say? There's the wavering in the voice.
Congratulations, Indiana, the Big Ten champs. How does that sound?
It sounds so beautiful. I want to give all the glory to God. We were never supposed to be in this position, but by the glory of God, the great coaches, great teammates, everyone we have around us, we were able to pull this off. Whoever thought the Hoosiers would be here, but now the Hoosiers are flipping champs. Let's go.
Oh, jeez, Rick.
Let's go, guys. You got to stay swifty.
I don't know about this, Rick.
I don't know. I need to hear a full Heisman speech from this dude now.
Yeah, I'm in favor of him now.
Yeah, like, listen, guys, when I was sitting there in my blazer, I didn't know it was going to happen. I thought it was going to go to another guy, but it came to me, and I'm just really grateful to God and Jesus and God and God and my community.
Is he the Heisman front runner now, Mike? Who's the betting favorite now that Indiana has just concluded its best season ever? There are a number of teams in college football. You can make the argument that Missouri, Vanderbilt, Texas Tech, Indiana all had their best seasons in program history. What are the betting odds on the Heisman Trophy between him and Pavia and all the other Latin guys you wanted me to vote for on the Heisman ballot?
I know Pavia was a favorite headed into conference championship weekend, but Jeremy has the odds from DraftKings Sportsbook here.
Mendoza is minus 2,500 now. Whoa. He's the favorite. Pavia is plus 900. Then you have Jeremiah Love, Julian Sayin, Jacob Rodriguez, Gunnar Stockton after that.
Yeah,
Let's go!
Your top three needs to be Rodriguez, Pavia, and Mendoza.
Throw 50 on Gunnar, bro, just because he has a white guy name. You know what I'm saying?
I'm surprised that and perhaps I should not be, that the betting odds changed that much. But Indiana beating Ohio State, I suppose, should do that because Pavia was a big favorite before this weekend.
What is the mean age? The average age of the voting body of this Heisman?
That's a good question.
Because
Poppy had a vote.
My father did have a vote.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's going to win because he said flipping instead of
Let's go.
lock it in. Let's go.
It's not just the age of the Heisman voter because they're also all the previous Heisman winners also get to vote.
Tebow is definitely voting for that kid.
Oh, he's stuffing the ballot box.
Yeah, it's not just age; it's also sensibility. Yeah. It's who does well in a banquet hall.
Come on, Tebow's voted for him 4 times on behalf of himself, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. All 4 votes going to Mendoza.
Pablo, what were the observations that you said that Merrill was making about when he walked into the room that nobody was making when he walked into the room?
You just pointed out that it looks like Dan is standing on,
waiting for the train.
Yeah, just like waiting for the subway.
Yeah. Look, if you look at that single, look at that shot. He's just waiting.
Dan's also dressed like he's outdoors right now.
Yeah. That's how I know you're from Miami, Chip. You in here with a scarf on. I'm out usually at this time of the year. I'm outside, still shirtless, drinking Hennessy. You know?
Well, thank you for bringing that up because I was curious. I watched yesterday. I'm watching that Bills-Bengals game was crazy. So the Bengals are winning by 10 with 8 minutes left and then down 11 with 3 minutes left. And in the stands in one of the snow games, those Bills fans, there were shirtless Bills fans. Do you understand the mentality of that? Do you understand having as much liquor in you or what you would have to do in order to be shirtless in those kinds of temperatures?
Doug, I don't know how they do that. Because I don't have a low pain tolerance. I have a high pain tolerance, But for me to do that, you would have to hook me up to like a dilaudid drip or something. Like I just have to be in a fugue state. There's no way that I'm standing out there with my titties out and it's single digits or with a negative sign in front of the temperature. That is crazy. And then when the wind blows, it just slices across your nips. If you have acrylic paint on your, bro, in that weather, that cannot be good for you, bro. That is definitely toxic.
That was a great Dilaudid reference because I learned what that was. I learned what that was when I was in the hospital with my brother. That is the medication that they give you when they don't want you to be feeling anything at all.
Fim,
there's nothing stronger than that, right? Like
No.
Dilaudid will make fentanyl pee its pants in terms of not having anything in the way.
Can you
of,
put that on the poll?
Yeah, put it on the poll. Will Dilaudid make fentanyl pee its pants?
1,000%
as a drug.
It was in the thing that apparently killed Elvis in that cocktail. It was part Dilaudid.
Shit.
You know, just to give you a sense of.
Is that what got Mike too?
No, that was that milk. What was it called? It was
La leche.
Yeah.
Hey,
yo, that's crazy.
Tony, yeah. Tony's
Come on now.
Propofol.
Let's go.
I did not want us to do the let's go underneath me saying propofol, but that is the drug.
Soundbite this. Propofol.
Mike, did you know that Fernando Mendoza sounded like that when the Columbus Crew was telling you about the Heisman chances of Fernando Mendoza? Because I did not.
Yes, I've known for a long time that he sounds the way Jeremy looks.
Let's go. Yo, Jim, let's go. Yo, Jim, listen, man. That was the D-Wade LeBron picture, man. You just in that. You know what I'm saying? Enjoy it.
See if you can find Jeremy's Let's Go, the lonely Let's Go that Jeremy did when he was trying to get us all to follow him into battle, and it sounded like a misplaced, lonely, sad person who wasn't able to summon anything in the way of inspiration, and pair it against the Fernando Mendoza, if you would. I'm stalling so that Roy can find that because I haven't tried to challenge him this technically when I'm on New York before, and so I can hear him cursing from here.
And I'm continuing to Google Dilaudid just to make sure I didn't miss any other celebrities who died because of it.
See if you can find another drug stronger than that, because I don't believe there is one stronger than that. You have 23 seconds to get us the punctuation, Roy. No pressure.
Yo, Roy's up there. I can see the screen. Do you see the waveforms on that screen? Boy, he is moving.
Yeah.
Roughly 4 to 5 times stronger than oxycodone.
God damn.
Codone.
Let's go.
Yeah, no wonder. Let's go.
Let's go.
Download it.
Hey guys, this episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings. I don't know if you know this, but DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Notre Dame is declining a bowl invitation after being left out of the playoffs.
I don't like it. If you don't get it your way, you just take your ball and go home.
You cannot be an independent, control your own schedule, and then pout when you don't get in.
We're Notre Dame, so we just belong in the playoffs. Forget who we played or who we lost to. We'll just be digging our heels down in the sand, canceling our Christmas travel plans, taking our ball with us and going home to prove a point to the committee, cause we couldn't beat the good teams that we played. I think we'll just opt out. The only option here is be whiny clowns. I think we'll just opt out. There's nothing else to do but just sit and pout. I think we'll just opt out. We gotta bitch and moan cause they left us out. I think we'll just opt out. We're petty baby boys and we're crashing out.
I did not expect to be as excited about the way things played out with the Miami Hurricanes yesterday as I was. Like I don't lose sleep over the Hurricanes, all right? I don't lose sleep over college sports. It's kids, it's student athletes, right. You know? Like I don't let it make me angry. And I was on the plane yesterday getting back from the SEC championship game, and I got the selection show on my phone. So now when we arrive at Miami Airport, I'm walking through the airport, watching on my phone. And once they got to Alabama at number 9, it said Alabama like oh, Canes got a shot now. Because if it said Alabama at 9, Canes are screwed. And then
if it said Notre Dame at 9.
Yeah, what did I say?
You said Alabama.
If it said Notre Dame and I'm like, oh, Canes are screwed. But if it says Alabama, got a chance.
Would have held out hope. The Canes had passed Alabama in the AP vote. And, I mean, that performance was really bad. And if you were leaning on history, hell, if you were leaning on that show, teams that lost a conference championship slid. And they lost their conference championship the worst.
It's 1 year history, though.
No. In every year of the CFP. You lose that game. There was a reigning national champion Georgia team that ended up beating Florida State by 70 that lost its SEC championship game that didn't have a chance to defend its title.
I don't think it's comparable to compare a 4-team and a 12-team. It's such different circumstances.
But in the expanded playoff, everybody slides. And for that team to be the one lone outlier that didn't slide, it makes it kind of strange. And it was maybe a little tip of the hand when they climbed inexplicably over Notre Dame. We did mention that maybe they're guarding against them losing in the SEC title game by them putting Alabama over Notre Dame when Notre Dame was pretty dominant against Stanford, and Alabama had a bad game, a game in which they almost blew a 17-point lead to 5-7 Auburn, a team that's not very good. But the committee raised them, and they gave all sorts of weird logic for it. But you're right. Once Alabama flashed up on that graphic, I was like, okay, well, I'm prepared for this one. This is the fight that we've been fighting for a month.
Question. If Duke does not win the ACC championship, because once Duke won the ACC championship, like, all right, I thought there was a chance. I thought it was a good chance the Canes were going to get screwed because Alabama's going to bump down, and that's going to keep that stupid buffer that they've been lying to us about for the past month in between Notre Dame and Miami. But because Duke won the ACC championship, is the committee going to say, we can't not have an ACC team in? So you know what? Miami, you're in. Like, do you think that did that actually help the Canes?
I mean, I'm curious because of all the things you said, the one thing you said that was correct is that Notre Dame has a right to feel duped. And the reason why is because every show, I mean, Mike's anger week by week is based on the one thing where it's like they're ignoring it. And then at the last minute, like, oh, that's right, Mike's right.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing changed between those two teams. They were idle.
Nothing.
So I'm wondering how they're going to explain that to the world.
I want to chew on that for a second, but briefly, let me get back to the original point.
About Duke.
Hunter Yurachek made it very clear to the point that it was pretty convincing that the Duke-Virginia game had zero impact on this Miami-Notre Dame decision. And I'm with you. I kind of feel like it's hard to turn to the Big 12 and the ACC and say 2 group of 5s get in and only one of your little conglomerate get in. I'm with you. When I was laying my head down to go to sleep on Saturday night, I was like, I guess I want Duke to win because it's a little extra. But the CFP has been consistent and stronger than anything else, that when saying the Duke victory had nothing to do with this.
Don't forget what was also working against Miami was the night before, Friday night, Boise won the Mountain West. And that helped Notre Dame's case because it strengthened their schedule. A team that they crushed just won their conference.
My question is, if Virginia would have won, would that have forced the committee to have some sort of conversation about Virginia or no?
No, Virginia would have
been
in.
in. They'd have been in.
Yeah, Virginia would have
James
gotten
Madison
in automatically. But I want to talk about what Amin referenced, which was it did seem like Notre Dame got caught with their pants down here. And I know what their AD is saying right now. Their AD is taking it out on the ACC, not a fan of how the ACC have taken to their social channels. Remember, Jim Phillips kind of stayed out of this, and he just answered, yeah, Miami deserves to be in, not really taking shots at Notre Dame.
I think there's been a very arrogant response from Notre Dame.
Oh,
very arrogant.
It's arrogant.
Absolutely.
It's arrogant for sure, but it also reminds me of, like, we've all been there where you're dating a significant other. It's like, what do you want for your birthday? I don't want anything. It's okay. I don't want anything. You don't have to do anything big. So you don't do anything big. It's like, I thought you cared. Like, wait a second. I thought we were on the same page.
You told me you didn't want anything.
You told me you didn't want anything, and now all of a sudden I'm wrong.
So to tell the audience, Pete Pavakwa, the Notre Dame AD, went on Dan Patrick's show, and he said the ACC did, quote, permanent damage to its relationship with Notre Dame for all the anti-Irish playoff politicking the conference publicly leaned into in this lead up to the selection show. Again, you approached this with an arrogance, thinking that head-to-head ultimately wasn't going to matter. I think he also knows that this is deflection, right? He's an administrator, and a lot of Notre Dame fans are upset that he wasn't out there publicly campaigning more, getting out in front of this. Notice he's turned his ire to the ACC, who he has some sort of brilliant partnership with, where he gets all the benefit of the relationship, doesn't have to share any of the
They
revenue
don't give them
with
any money, right?
No. So, we're shocked that the ACC is backing one of the teams that it actually has to share revenue with, rather than a team that has the sweetest deal in all of the sport, that if they make the playoff, none of their success is the ACC's. When Notre Dame is considered for these pools, even though they basically play an ACC light schedule, they're not part of the ACC narrative. The ACC is a joke. They don't get to claim any of Notre Dame's success while they beat up on their teams, and as of the selection show, apparently beating them doesn't benefit you either.
And Rich coming from a team and a school that's like, hey, my mommy has a note that says that I get to go to your field trip next year. Like, if you got to do it, like my mom said, it's okay. It's
Okay,
like, come on, give me a break.
Can somebody explain this to me like I'm a 4-year-old?
Yeah.
What that report is? Because A, I don't understand what it means, and B, why is this just coming out now?
All right. So this is what Bavakwa told Yahoo Sports. In a part of a memorandum of understanding signed by CFP officials last spring, Notre Dame will be assured of making the playoff if it is ranked in the top 12 starting next year.
Why?
That's the deal they struck.
This
man.
is based off of the fact that when it was initially expanded, Notre Dame became
So like a year ago, 2
essentially,
years ago.
Right, when they expanded it, their AD at the time, or their former AD, Jack Swarbrick, was part of this, but ultimately what ended up happening, right, is you have these 5 automatic qualifiers that are all the top 5 conference champions. As an independent team, Notre Dame cannot automatically qualify, and in turn, their only option is to be an at-large team. So this memorandum that they ultimately signed was, if you're ranked in the top 12, you're going to turn into an automatic bid, because
why are we
theoretically,
just learning this now and not 2 years ago?
I think
it was signed last year.
Yeah, I think it was out there last year, and this was a helpful reminder. Ross Dellinger brought it back up to people's
So this
attention.
is a real thing that's going to be a thing next year.
I also think it was in part of a correction that the committee had, in which Notre Dame was not eligible for a bye, no matter how good their season was.
They changed it after 1 year.
They changed it
My
after
God.
1 year, and this might have been lumped in on that. I mean, there are ways to guardrail against that. If it comes down to Notre Dame and that 12 seed, the committee can also get out in front of this and have Miami in front of Notre Dame earlier, like they should have.
Right.
Again, the ridiculous part here is that they set up Notre Dame for this okie doke, and Notre Dame came with this arrogance, saying that it couldn't happen to them, and they believed this BS when at the end of the day, they were going to be close on metrics, and Miami has the chief tiebreaker that is applied to all the competitive sports. For them to not think that this could happen to them shows a great arrogance on their part. And you can also tell by some of these comments is Pete's not going after the actual power. The AD is not invoking the SEC whatsoever. He's going after his flat track ACC partners, which I also think is in bad faith.
Why?
The ACC helped you out in 2020. Bad leadership by Jim Phillips and company to just let them in the ACC and have an ACC schedule the entire time. Remember, the Big Ten, Ohio State made the CFP going 5-0 that year. All right? Like, the ACC had Notre Dame over a barrel. They were helpful to one another. And for them to get nothing but this BS from Notre Dame, go ahead, explore other opportunities. Do it for other conferences, because I don't need Notre Dame in my conference. I really don't. I don't need any of this nonsense. I would love to share in the revenue. I would love you to be a full-fledged member. But if you're going to have your cake and eat it too and not share in any of the spoils, and we barely get credit for when we beat you, find somebody else. Enjoy the Mountain West, pal.
It was an incredible amount of hubris leading up to Sunday.
Hubris Davis.
You put the tweets out there. Hey, Kane, Alabama, you guys go argue with each other. Okay.
Was that them? Did they tweet that? I thought it was just
No, they didn't. No, like the fans were like, all right, this is, now that Alabama's been blown out, this is not a Miami Notre Dame thing. Miami had the better argument against both schools. I feel for you. I understand. You feel duped. You feel duped, but that's on you. You should have been sounding the alarm bells that, hey, there is potential here for the obvious to happen. Miami had a common opponent against Alabama. They lost FSU. Miami beat them. Now, what Alabama had over everybody else was
Kate should have been ahead of Alabama, too.
Strength of schedule. Notre Dame was right there. They lost a head-to-head with Miami, and they didn't have the common opponent deal that Miami had over Alabama. If you had any foresight, like we've been telling you for weeks and weeks and weeks, this was going to potentially happen. They should have been more prepared.
The reality is if this college football playoff committee was to be any level of consistent, both Notre Dame and Miami would be in. Because BYU is a team that went to their conference championship, got blown out, and in turn dropped out of the playoff conversation.
But, they were already out if they didn't win the conference championship.
But
I think
why
that's an important
shouldn't
point.
Alabama be? Right? Because Alabama was a team that was right there, and they got absolutely dominated in their conference championship game, which led to a third loss, by the way, negating one of their best wins, right? Where BYU just lost to a team you already knew they weren't as good as, and they got blown out, and they got knocked out. At least to maintain a level of consistency, you could say easily, Notre Dame and Miami, you're better than these two teams. We just saw them go head-to-head with playoff teams. They got dominated. They're out. That was a de facto playoff game for both. But there's no level of consistency.
You're right.
You're hand-picking when you want to use the conference championship game as something that matters or not.
She said she didn't want anything.
I
don't get it.
But I do think that you brought up some good points, Zaz, where I think you were going as it pertains to BYU is I hear all the arguments, and you could have argued maybe they should have been included in the field that was in, but it was out there for BYU. They knew the stakes. They were outside looking in.
Right.
When
Even
that
if
game
they
was gonna
remain
play.
the same, they're still out.
Yeah, so they knew that they had to win that game to get in.
Yep.
Because it was an automatic qualifier, and they knew the deal going into it.
Like, you're mad that Alabama didn't move, and so they still get in. Even if BYU didn't move, they still don't get in. So, I mean, does it make sense that one moved and the other one didn't? No. But even if BYU was treated the way Alabama was, they still don't
It's
get
fair
in.
enough. It's just more like I think maybe the setup and the conceit from there maybe should have been that BYU would have been ahead of the two teams that are not making a conference championship. But that is something to argue on the back end, right? You're right. The way it was set up, they needed a win to get in, and they knew the stakes of that going in. It just makes no sense to have teams that go to a championship. Like, BYU does drop in the ranking one way or another. Like, we see one team drop, we see another team that doesn't, and that's where Notre Dame has to be absolutely furious, and BYU has to have a gripe maybe not as strong as Notre Dame's.
The biggest, there's going to be changes one way or another. I don't know what they're going to be. I would start with, we don't need to have this show. And I know it's part of a contract.
Brother.
I know it's part of a contract,
man.
and it gets the ratings. I get it. But we don't need the show. We really don't, because all these rankings leading up to the only ranking that clearly matters, being yesterday, it literally didn't mean anything.
Well, it did more than not mean anything. It misled.
Yep.
Yes.
It misled.
Yes.
And that's the problem. I don't think the answer is to not have the show. The answer is have the show be done well. Like, have them do what they should have been doing the whole time, as opposed to, in irony, making us have a better show by just having Mike mad every goddamn week.
Kirk Herbstreit echoed this point. It's like that Tuesday show seems so stupid because I can understand a fan for Notre Dame being like, how the hell what happened over the weekend? If this was a Miami Notre Dame thing the entire time, why didn't you? They actually said the opposite. They told us that Miami and Notre Dame were never in direct comparison. Now, the last few days, they opened the door to that, which I guess Notre Dame should have
But,
maybe
like,
prepared for that more.
Why the last few days?
That's support. Miami had to get right. I wasn't arguing that they should have been ranked ahead of Notre Dame after they lost to SMU, because Miami was what felt like in the middle of a spiral, turned out to be a hiccup. But once Miami proved that they could right the ship, the F we doing, which has been, much to the listeners' dismay, been my complaint the entire time.
I'm watching a clip of him on the Dan Patrick Show, Bavacqua. His background is like the bleachers, but they've been folded up, and so you can see the numbers. Corny. You don't deserve to be in a playoff. You know what? No one wants you in the bowl game. Get out of here.
Now,
bum.
Can we move the conversation forward a little bit? And what I mean by that is the Canes. No. The Canes are playing one of the teams that Notre Dame lost to. All right. So we can't have this whole to-do leading up to it, and the Canes get the spot over Notre Dame, and then the Canes go to College Station and lay a massive egg. All right. Like, now You need to go there and take care of that business, all right? Come on now. You can't go out there and let everybody give you an I told you so. You didn't belong. Notre Dame belongs.
To speak to the ego of Notre Dame fans, there were people unironically posting the tile of the matchup, Miami versus Texas A&M, and all of them quote tweeting, Notre Dame beats both these teams. Notre Dame had the opportunity to play against both these teams. Notre Dame went 0-2 against these teams.
So good.
That's how they've arrogantly approached the last few weeks, is that they don't understand that concept. But in terms of an opponent, this is now a 3.5-point line. The market corrected it. Home field advantage in that sport for a stadium like
Looking
Caulfield.
like 4 right now. Looking like 4.
It's about 3.5 in that sport.
Looking
So this
like 4.
is essentially a coin flip game in the eyes of the odds makers, and I can't wait to watch it. I went to Caulfield 4 years ago. Mario Cristobal, year 1.
Intimidating?
Yeah, I will say that's like the best atmosphere I've ever been at for a game in terms of intimidation, and you feel the stadium rocking. You feel all 100,000 people.
Do you feel like it's a good matchup for the Canes? Because this is a Texas A&M team that even going into that Texas game, we were looking at their schedule like, wow, they're really only playing the bottom half SEC teams. And then they played one of the better ones in Texas. They got their ass kicked.
The defenses looked a little leaky here recently. South Carolina's not a good team. They went up 30 at Kyle Field, the aforementioned. They're a line of scrimmage team, so they play into some of Miami's strengths. I think Miami's playing their best ball.
All right.
And I don't think Texas A&M is helping their cause, because I got about a 24-hour expiration date on being happy to be here before we turn our attention to
That's
Texas
right.
A&M. And they've already been out there talking. You have an old lineman saying, we don't have to worry about Reuben Bain.
That's some quote.
He's
Did
not
you
a
see
player that
I
we have
mean?
to worry about.
He was asked about, how are you going to stop Reuben Bain? He's one of the top. He's going to be one of the top picks draft. Like a guy like Chuckle is like, we're not worried about him.
Yeah, Mike Elko, head coach Mike Elko said that little freshman slot that they have there is a nice player. Okay, all right, we'll find out together.
Mike, now remind me, is Texas A&M the school with the guy who talks like this?
Yeah, no, we have to. I think Chris Cody and I have to run it back.
Yeah.
4 years later.
I
Hello,
think so.
old friend.
Wow. And by the way, look, I don't want to get ahead of myself, okay? But the winner of Miami, Texas A&M, you know who they play?
Who?
Ohio State.
Whoa.
Zaz, you want to get
It's
revenge
lining up
tour?
very
Have you
nicely.
seen what this revenge tour could be?
You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
All right. If Miami goes to Kyle Field and does something that they couldn't do 4 years ago, which is beat Texas A&M there. Remember, Miami did trounce Texas A&M the following years, one of Tyler Van Dyke's better games. But if they beat Texas A&M, as you mentioned, they go to the Cotton Bowl against Ohio State. So we'll have all those Fiesta Bowl highlights, and that's revenge that has been on Miami's hearts and minds. Every supporter of the Miami Hurricanes has been wanting to see that matchup. If they get past Ohio State, speaking of the Fiesta Bowl, they exercise those demons, and it could potentially be Carson Beck against the Georgia Bulldogs.
Ooh.
And then there is a way that this bracket shakes out, that if Miami were to somehow go through that murderer's row, because there isn't a tougher path for a team to get to the final than the Miami Hurricanes, but if they do, it's in their home stadium.
That's right.
In Miami Gardens. And potentially they could be taking on the Oregon Ducks.
Mario Cristobal's old school.
There is quite the revenge tour path here.
I was going to say quite possibly they could be taking on James Madison.
No one believes
Hell
that.
yeah, they can.
Dude, when you were watching that James Madison game, where you're like, I probably shouldn't have come out.
That
so
defense in the second half were really strong against Troy. I'm just excited there's 2 group of 5 teams in this playoff. How about that?
Put it on the poll. If your conference championship is among 2 teams named after a guy, you shouldn't be in the CFP.
We're all very excited. But you know what? A lot of other things happened over the weekend. There was a lot going on. Amin, let's do some weekend observations.
Transition.
It is time for to share his game notes. No one in the media will tell you what happened better than my boy.
Weekend Observations is presented by Miller Lite. Zaz?
Yeah.
After a couple-week absence, including the internet connection fiasco of last week, which for some reason seemed to really grip both the audience and the show. It's a bad internet connection. You guys act like it's the first time it's ever happened. Guess what? I'm back. I woke up this morning half expecting the Chiefs miraculously pulled it off somehow. Death of a dynasty. Will Taylor Swift write a song about Kansas City's failed relationship with success? Mahomes, 14-33 and 3 interceptions. Someone check on Nick Wright. Thank God the CFP is set and Miami made it, so we can finally shut the f*** up about it. Notre Dame, grow up. Someone check on Spetty. How about them Finns? Gutsy, relentless, proving Greg Cody right. Don't bend the knee. Someone check on Greg Cody, by the way. Desmond Bain was the second most accurate quarterback in New York yesterday. He hit Anunoby right between the numbers. You not see this?
I did, but, like, what's his deal?
You know what my favorite part was? He beans him, and then he turns on and he goes, our ball. he points, and then surprised Anunoby's pissed off, like, what's up? Like,
but it's not even like he was, like, you could have just taken the ball and started a fast break.
No, I don't know. I don't know what that was
It's
about.
the second time he's done that this year.
Yeah. The things you learn about a guy when he gets out of Memphis. The NFL always has the most unbelievable injury reports. It'd be like, player X, lobotomy, upgraded to questionable. Who the is Riley Leonard? Good to see Mike Tomlin and the Steelers make it out of Baltimore alive.
You don't know who Riley Leonard is?
No. Who that?
Former Irish.
I don't know that.
It's a Notre Dame QB.
He made it to the national title game. He played very well for the Irish.
I don't watch college football like that. What's college football? Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Steelers who?
Pittsburgh Steelers made it out of Baltimore alive. I'm not very good at knock, knock jokes. Don't look now, but here come the Celtics.
Playing well. Jaylen Brown. My God.
Dan legitimately wondered if the FIFA World Cup draw would have as many viewers as Cowboys-Lions. 1 billion people tuned in worldwide to the World Cup draw. But yeah, I'm sure it fell a little south of Thursday Night Football. Is he serious?
It was a big game on Thursday Night Football.
I felt this. He wasn't doing show. He was sincere. It's like, do you think as many people that watched Cowboys-Lions watch the World Cup draw? Like, Dan, are you?
Do we have an actual number on the World Cup draw?
It's 1 billion. It's north of 1 billion.
What is that like in share in TV, like
all
parlance?
Of it.
1 billion.
Of all the TVs?
All of it.
I think that's a 10% share.
Globally. The Cardinals defense gave up 530 total yards to the Rams. At one point, I think Eric Dickerson rushed for a gain. Guys, I think FIFA might be rigged. I got tickets. Thanks to Mike, put me on. My tickets turned out to be for Group B, which is Canada, Qatar, and Switzerland.
Ooh.
Now it's personal. You bastards. I got nothing. How do you get in an elevator, press L for lobby, and then walk right out when it stops at 15 and, like, not notice? These people do this all the time. I'm like, you thought this was the lobby? You're that into your phone that you didn't hear the thing yell out 15.
Like, can't you feel that you only went down one floor?
Every day. In this building especially. I can't believe Dan let Miro refer to Jeter as Jeets. I try to jump in. I'm like, what? We gonna do this? Everyone just listen quietly to the story. Frauds. News came out that Chris Paul and Ty Lue hadn't talked in weeks. Weeks! You know how miserable of an ass got to be for T. Lue to be avoidant? Like, this is not a guy who's like, oh, conflict. Here's an idea for Vince Gilligan. Pluribus but cast Chris Paul. The world population will be decimated midway through episode 2. You guys remember when I pitched Vince Gilligan the idea of a Gilligan's Island reboot? And he liked it. That made Dan mad. Those were the days.
Simpler times.
He was so upset. Who the f*** is Brady Cook? Kevin Stefanski. Get that resume ready, buddy. You see this?
Yeah, what was that play?
That's the old, like, oh, you're not the best guy. I'm the guy who makes the wins happen.
Like, Shadur, by all accounts, was pretty good yesterday.
Yeah.
Like, how about let him throw the ball on that play, too?
Yeah. What? Like, why Galaxy Brain this one?
It's tough to defend.
Pete Carroll. Mark Stein reporting that the Bucks are not entertaining Giannis trade offers. Yeah, right. Mark Stein reporting the Heat would have to give up Kel'el Ware in a Giannis trade.
Okay.
What, Tyler Hero and a box of Cracker Jacks wasn't enough? Cracker Jacks. 20 CB. Steve Kerr on benching Jonathan Kuminga in the fourth. Quote, it happens to everyone in the league except for the stars. Unquote. Ouch. He said you're a bum. LeBron James.
What do you say?
Turn back the clock performance. Who the f*** is Brandon Carlson? Trick question. He plays for the Thunder. I think.
What, guy 18 on the bench?
I think so. Here's the science, a bar rescue podcast. We teamed up, restaurant and bar consultant Chelsea Reynolds, and commercial kitchen and food truck veteran Colin Cassard with 2 world-class bar patrons, that's Zach Harper and myself, to analyze and review episodes of Bar Rescue.
I love how you
Really?
I love the attributes you
Yeah, say that again for people that didn't
you
catch
put
it.
for you and Zach.
Well, restaurant and bar consultant Chelsea Reynolds, commercial kitchen and food truck veteran Colin Cassard,
Actual bona fides right there.
and 2 world-class bar patrons, Zach Harper.
Oh, bar patron.
You're world class.
Gotcha.
Actually, play on for me. You are. You're an expert when it comes to bars.
I'm a patron. I do it every Tuesday wherever you get podcasts. I'm going to run this one back since I didn't get to do it live last week. To the couple in the aisle seats at the end of the row at Nuggets Suns. You can't sit in the aisle seats and be annoyed that people in the row might get up and go to the bathroom or get concessions or whatever. Similarly, you can't be annoyed when said people in the row who got up to go to the bathroom or get concessions or whatever return from that journey. You especially can't be annoyed when this happens during halftime.
Oh, come on. Like, I thought they were getting annoyed when it was during play.
No
way.
Got up to go and then,
Come on.
and then at the end of halftime, after having done this deed, come back. Like, what did you think? I was going forever?
That's crazy.
Also, stand up when people walk through. You don't want to catch an errant hog to the face. Keep it kosher.
Wait, so when you walk past, you front face them?
Absolutely.
What?
If you don't get up,
That's crazy.
If you don't get up, you're getting hog.
You front face as you're scooting past?
If you refuse to get up when someone is walking through the aisle, I have the freedom to point my hog in any direction.
That's wild. That's wild.
You know what's wild? Not standing up.
I agree, but
You know what's
still.
wild? Not standing up and acting annoyed.
Front face while you scoot past, that's wild.
Juju, put it on the poll. Is it okay to front face while you pass someone in an aisle? OKC, Sat SGA, Isaiah Hartenstein, Lou Dort, Alex Caruso, and Isaiah Joe. That's a starting 5 caliber lineup right there. And they were still 11.5-point favorites going in.
Crazy.
They won by 30.
Yeah, but if the Knicks had some bench,
Yeah,
contender.
Jesus Christ. What the hell was he talking about? No, not yet.
23-1.
This week on Cinephobe, episode 292, Collateral Damage. A movie that Roy let me know was supposed to come out on 9/11 and then got pushed. Found out later that not only was it delayed, they had to edit it, including a scene where Sofia Vergara plays a terrorist who hijacks a plane.
Same thing happened at 24. It was supposed to debut that month. They had to push it back.
Yeah. And an ad with Arnold Schwarzenegger's face with an explosion behind it and the tagline, "What would you do if you lost everything?" Ugh, bad timing. Cinephobe, wherever you get podcasts. Shout out to Santos, who was at MMA Hangout the other night, Saturday night. Cinephobe fan. Will Hardy, telling his team during a timeout that the music ran out. Oh, there it is. Will Hardy, telling his team during a timeout, quote, "I'm tired of doing this every game." I feel you, bro. We're all trapped in our own personal hells. His just comes with millions of dollars. Speaking of hell, Art Briles. Those are the weekend observations.
Good job, Amin. So I caught a bunch of the World Cup draw on Friday.
You know about the Caraca?
Yeah. And then like I put the channel back on like 2 hours later, and they weren't even close to done.
It was an embarrassment. We knew that show can go long, but the programming. I mean,
well, you didn't like the FIFA Peace Prize? Who won, by the way?
I didn't like that. I didn't like the audible that they called to have the world leaders come out and pull their own countries just for the photo op. It was a Johnny Infantino show.
And like Buddy led the crowd in chants.
I wasn't a fan of the Rio Ferdinand comedy sketches. Just
what was that?
2 hours into it, everybody was like, "Just pick the damn team."
What was that?
I don't know.
What, like, whose idea was that?
I don't know. I didn't stick around. I honestly left. I'm a soccer fan. I was looking forward to this whole thing, and once we got about 70 minutes into it, and I was already like shown Donald Trump and Johnny Infantino multiple times when I don't want to see them at all. I was like, all right, I'll just Google it afterwards. But hey, the United States got a good draw.
Did they get a good draw?
Favorable.
All the host countries got really nice draws.
Funny how that works, I mean, but yeah, like this was probably the best case scenario. You have Panama, which will be the United States' first match. They have Australia, a team that they should beat. Now, Turkey has beaten the United States recently. Odds-on favorite for them to come out of that playoff. We will wait to see who does. Turkey can probably give the United States some problems, but The United States is a host nation that does give teams some boost, and it lays out quite nicely here, setting up potentially a rematch against Belgium in the World Cup. Again, not the same type of talented Belgium side. So if you're a United States fan or just a casual observer that wants to root on Old Glory, it lays out quite nicely for you. And if you want tickets, and or maybe you're just stuck with Canada, Qatar.
I'm so upset. I was so, because I'm watching this poll, and I'm like, okay, it's cool. All right. And then I'm like, you got to give me something here. And the third one came out. I'm like, my only hope is, I guess, if Italy wins.
Well, maybe you can upload those tickets on Game Time.
There you go.
Game Time. Take the guesswork out of buying soccer tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code Dan for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code DAN for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Go. Download the Game Time app today.
Now, guys, I'm surprised that Chris Paul didn't pull the ultimate move when he was asked to fly home. I don't know if have you guys ever heard this story about Ty Lawson? When Ty Lawson was towards the end of his time in Denver, they reached a point where he was inactive, but they would go on the trip. You go on the trip and just enjoy whatever city. So the Nuggets allegedly created a new rule. If you're not on the active roster, you can't go on the trip. But they did it right before they were going to go to play, I think, the Lakers. And obviously, in the NBA, the LA trip is like, that's goal. Like, you're setting excursions up months in advance.
Especially because you usually stop for the Lakers and Clippers. So
right.
You get a lot of time.
It's a long
You're
break.
sending the advanced scouts out there to make sure things are kosher when you get there?
We have a programming done ahead of time. And so to be told right before that trip, oh, you ain't going. Ty Lawson allegedly was so upset. He booked his own flight, then bought tickets to Nuggets Lakers and sat courtside. And I was like, Chris Paul should have done that. He should have bought courtside tickets and sat there.
That would have been amazing.
And just heckled and second-guessed everything that the Clippers were doing.
Wasn't Ty Lue caught recently? There was some video footage that came out where he was talking trash about CP3
No,
after they were releasing him.
that's the stuff that I'm really, really starting to get annoyed with the internet about. It's like we're going to take things completely out of context. Like when the Lakers played the Mavericks about a week or so ago, and they're like, look, LeBron didn't even dap up Anthony Davis. It's like he dapped him up literally right before that video was cut and clipped. And the bad part was it was propagated by ESPN LA. Like, you guys have to know better. Like, you can't just be sharing. Like, you guys were at the game. Why would that be something that you missed, but then you're just going to aggregate whatever's shared out there? But, no, they were talking about a play, and I guess, I want to say Chris Dunn couldn't remember something about the play, so Chris Paul was telling James Harden about that, and then Ty Lue was basically saying, it doesn't matter what the play is called. Because it was called CP or whatever. It doesn't matter what it's called.
Gotcha.
Just run this play like this, no matter who's on the floor. But, again, it's cut and put out in the context like he's talking trash about Chris Paul, even though Chris Paul was right there.
Yeah.
This wasn't like after the fact.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was like from training camp, that video.
Oh.
I just love the idea of Chris Paul being at the game and, like, Chris Dunn bricks a shot and he's like, yo, Ty, I told you shouldn't get so many minutes. Like, just yelling from courtside.
I got it even better than that. You're supposed to be in help. You're supposed to be like, what are you doing?
Oh, coaching them
oh my
from
God,
courtside.
You guys see the whole thing with Chris Haynes? He came out on Amazon Prime and he said Chris Paul tweeted the word leeway, or he Instagram storied the word leeway, the definition of the word leeway. And the reason for that is there was a game where
someone Van Gundy, right?
Well, Chris Paul changed the coverage. He told Kawhi to switch or whatever, and Van Gundy afterwards said, don't ever do that. And he says to him, you might have had the leeway to do that in other stops in your career. You do not have that leeway now, which is like, that's pretty cold.
Even though they're a terrible defensive team. But that's Van Gundy's thing. He's like the defensive guy there, right?
They were excellent last year because of Van Gundy. And I like, ultimately the coaches, that's a coach's approach. It's like, hey, if I come up with a scheme and we execute the scheme and we're terrible, that's my fault. But if you guys start freestyling and ad-libbing and audibling, then we'll never know what works and what doesn't work. And so that stab, a lot of people came out very anti-Clipper. I'm like, you got Ty Lue, really good coach.
A pretty respected guy.
His associate head coach is Jeff Van Gundy, very respected guy, former head coach in this league. Then you got Larry Drew, former head coach in this league. Then you got Brian Shaw, former head coach in this league. Then you got Jay Larranaga, was a head coach on the collegiate level. It's like he doesn't have like a young, inexperienced staff that really needs a Chris Paul to be chiming in and second guessing everything. They got a pretty good staff,
and the best player on the team is 2-time Finals MVP.
So what's the issue? What's the issue with the Clippers?
Why are they bad?
Yeah.
Oh, because they've been hurt.
Oh, they're old.
And they're old. Like, and the game passed by. Their off season.
But
was
they
terrible.
were so good. They were so good last year to close the year out. It was like, okay, wait a second. The Clippers started to find
you know what? One of their best players plays for the Heat.
That's right.
Again, Norman Powell was the glue that kept the entire team together.
You know what's crazy? Flying into MIA, walking past that Miami Heat store, and seeing Heat 24 jerseys. I'm like, what? At the airport?
Pow!
Ooh.
If we can get back to the NFL here. So yesterday, the Bengals and Bills played in a snowstorm. And for the life of me, because I turned away from the game for like a few minutes. I turned away from the game when, the Bengals went ahead 28-18, I think the score was. And there was like 9 minutes left in the game. And 5 minutes later, they were down 38-28. What the hell happened there?
Our Bryles.
Burrow threw one of the worst picks that I've ever seen anybody throw.
One of them was a pick six, right?
It was a pick six, but he tried to throw a screen pass to Jamar Chase that I don't know if he lost the ball. I don't know what
snowing.
happened.
It's pretty
It
cold.
was snowing, sure, yeah,
Pretty
but he had
cold.
thrown the dime that he threw to T. Higgins.
But he was good all game before that.
Yes, he was, right. That's what I'm saying. Like, it
and
was
the blizzard
snowing, but
was in
come
the
on.
first half, by the way.
Right, so he throws like a shot put, like what we call in Spanish, un globito, which is a balloon. Un globito, he throws up, and Beneford just like goes up, picks it off, and runs it 55 yards to the house. But it was like such a bad pass, and I was like, who is that?
Zaz, you may not know this, but it's actually warmer while it's snowing. When it stops snowing, it starts getting really cold.
No, but it'll be harder to throw the ball when it is snowing, though,
It's harder
right?
when it's cold, man. My hands.
Yeah.
You can't feel your hands.
Yeah, I don't know about watching.
And then Josh Allen had like a 65-yard touchdown run too.
Yeah, so the Bills, I guess, keep their playoff hopes alive because they're by no means a lock. I mean, and the Bengals take a major dip with their 9th loss of the season. They really need to win their final 4 games, win the division, only chance in. I mean, you saw the Steelers and the Ravens yesterday, an abomination of a game, but still, the Steelers, they wind up going back over 500 here. And then
Was that a catch, by the way? The Ravens game?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
2 feet, and then the ball gets taken out.
I don't think so.
I mean, the process, right? But I thought
Process
it was
is a catch, but I thought he caught it.
thought it was a catch, but the NFL got more fascinating for me. That was an Alamo game, as it was described for the Chiefs. And
They forgot
can you
it.
believe? Let's just rewind 2 months ago.
How are the Texans winning games? That seems good.
Their defense
Defense
has
is
gotten
crazy.
better and better as the season
Their
progressed.
corners
but
are the best tandem in the league.
I want to focus, we haven't, I know the University of Miami has really hijacked this show, but we're kind of largely ignoring what's happening with the pro team because we don't expect much. But here they are with the same exact record as the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, we're a couple of wins away from Greg Cody hitting his preseason prediction.
Yeah, but there's really no way into the playoffs. They're two back of the final playoff
I mean,
spot.
it's them. I know they've been getting fat off of bad teams. They're going to have to win some big games against better teams.
I think they'll win next week. Monday night in Pittsburgh. I mean, the weather could be rough. I don't know. I think they could win that game, but then the final 3 games, very rough.
And now Tampa needs that one,
Yeah,
right?
very rough.
That was a really
And New England's
going
going to need the final game to hold off Denver for the top spot. Can the Dolphins outscore the Bengals in Sunday Night Football, which could be flexed out, but I don't believe they can because you saw the Dolphins quarterback yesterday, and he's horrific. So I think the Dolphins realistically have a chance at one more win this season.
For me, the headline from the NFL day was what's happened to the Kansas City Chiefs. Does that feel like a death blow to their chances? They've gone to 9 straight AFC Championship games. Are we seeing a changing of the guard, or at least the end of this incarnation of the Chiefs? But I want to turn my eyes over to the NFC. Green Bay is getting Watson back and Jaden Reed back at the same time. Josh Jacobs was incredible as that game went on. That was super impressive. And I've been a huge Jaden Reed guy. You have Watson making the big chunk plays down the field, looking super healthy now. But Jaden Reed is their go-to guy. He makes something out of nothing. And that now that they have those two guys there, I'm feeling good about my preseason Packer ticket, Tony.
My thing is this. I looked to the other side of the ball in that game, and I was like, man, the Bears, they had this like scrappiness about them. They were playing good defense. Caleb Williams felt like he had things going, getting together.
Such a bad throw.
And now I just look at terrible throw at the end of the game that obviously cost him the game. But I look at him, I'm like, is he just being propped up by a really good OC? The same way we're looking across at the lines now and being like, okay, they got good pieces.
I don't think that's fair because you're talking about being propped up by a really good OC. He's only in his second year.
Yeah, okay, but you got to be good.
Yeah.
Early.
Especially
fast.
when you look at what's happened to Lions since said OC left, right?
Right, like they have great players, which is why things work. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs, but like Goff is not the same Goff that he was last year.
But why does Caleb Williams need to be a finished product in year 2?
Because everybody needs to be a finished product immediately. Like that's the issue. Now we look at.
Are you new here?
Now we look at Jaden Daniels, and you're like, okay, now a season lost to injury and a season lost to a lot of injuries across the team. But it's like he's got to be great next year, or else is he done? Like C.J. Stroud, great year 1, and now we're questioning him too. Like Caleb's never really put it together. They bring in Ben Johnson. Now he's got this team playing well, but now you play against a team against that they have a rivalry with in the division, and they do that, and it's like, ugh.
Jaden Daniels is who my weekend observation about injury reports is about. He comes missed 3 games, dislocated elbow. I'm like, doesn't sound like you should be playing football, bro. You had a dislocated elbow?
How about the one on MMA and UFC?
Oh man,
Alexander Pantoja. Did you see that, Zaz?
Nah.
You see the exploded elbow?
Nah.
Oof.
No, even I know about that. Everybody's talking about that. Even Shane Gillis.
Nah, man, you'll know about that.
The exploded elbow was brutal. Went to catch himself. You remember when Rondo went to catch himself in the playoffs a couple years ago and his elbow bent backwards? Imagine that, but like a
Yeah, I remember Wade got blamed.
And then the Heat took that ass.
Against the spread. It's presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Tony, go ahead.
I'm going to take Monday Night Football tonight. LA Chargers plus 2.5-point dogs at home against a banged-up Eagles team. No Jalen Carter up the middle tonight. That means a lot of possibilities for Omarion Hampton, who's making his season comeback right now. I know Herbert got his hand hurt, but I think they're going to be able to run the ball enough with Omarion Hampton and Kamani Vidal. So give me the LA Chargers plus 2.5 at home.
I love that pick, Tony. I'm all over that. Now, depending on where you can get this game coming up between 3.5 and 4. Our good friends over at DraftKings Sportsbook, they are doubting the Miami Hurricanes. Yes, I added an S to Sportsbook. Miami Hurricanes right now, you can get them at plus 4 against Texas A&M. I think Miami matches up well. Give me the Miami Hurricanes. Against the spread. Against the spread. Against the spread. Against the spread. Hey, give me that spread. Against the spread. I want that spread.
Good job, guys. Let's bring Juju aboard. Hello, Juju.
What's up, my brother John? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good.
Who the hell is John?
That's me. I'm John, I guess. I'm John. Did you catch last night the Lakers? By the way, Lakers are 17-6.
Yeah.
Right.
Which, by all accounts, is a great record. And
Austin Reeves is averaging 30 points a game.
Yeah. The Lakers are really good. And LeBron last night saw 10 straight points in the fourth quarter, and he put the crown on. Now, you got to be careful. You got to be careful because LeBron, you remember last year, like he told us in a moment of honesty, he's not comfortable with praise, okay? So you got to be really careful when discussing LeBron.
Yeah.
He has never been comfortable with praise.
Oh, wow.
But Juju, how about LeBron last night?
Well, yeah, we'll see. I don't want to heap praise where it's not wanted, so I'll just say he scored a disgusting 10 points in a row. Embarrassing. What he had, 29, 7, and 6. Luka went 31, 15, and 11. Ugh, I hate this version of LeBron, but it is fantastic.
I'll tell you what, this is a good opportunity. I have an MVP of the day.
Oh, damn.
MVP of the day.
If we're going to have a discussion about who the MVP in the NBA is right now, You better talk about Luka Doncic. The Lakers win last night in Philly, 112-108. I like that reality has settled back in where the Sixers suck. Luka Doncic, 31 points last night. Now, he didn't shoot well, but, man, he gets the free throw line a ton. And every night it's 15 rebounds, it's 11 assists. My God, Luka Doncic, you better discuss him when we're talking about the MVP.
Is he your most MVP of the day?
Well, I'm not the
tally
one who
player?
keeps track of that, all right?
No, he's tied for most with Tyrese Maxey.
Wow. Nice.
Maxey's been good.
The only 3-time MVPs of the day.
Well, and what's going to hurt Maxey's case and continue to hurt Maxey's case is the Sixers stink. Like, you can't give MVP to a guy.
Embiid's been terrible.
Oh, my. I mean, you see Embiid last night, 4 for 21.
Yikes.
It's tough, man. But it's like, to me, I said at the beginning of the year, if you're a Sixers fan, all of a sudden you have a vision of this team that does not involve Embiid. You look at Edgecombe, you look at Max, you're like, okay, that's my future. And that dude, whatever he gives us is fine. Which is, and obviously it's disappointing, but it's freeing in a way, you know?
MVP of the day.
The way this works is if you have the most MVPs of the day, that makes you the favorite for MVP on the season, right?
Yeah,
So what's a medal stand looking like right now, Jeremy?
Yeah, so right now the 3-time MVPs of the day are Tyrese Maxey and, as we just mentioned, Luka Doncic. Then you have
You say Doncic.
Doncic, that's
Doncic,
fine.
I apologize. Wembanyama, you have a couple of times here, so he's a 2-time MVP of the day. And then tied with 1 MVP of the day, we have Aaron Gordon. We have Jaime Jaquez Jr.
I remember that game.
We have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Nikola Jokic, and, of course, Norman Powell.
So they all have 1.
MVP of the day.
Yes, they all have 1.
Okay, Jokic right now, according to DraftKings Sportsbook, Jokic is your leader for MVP at plus 150, SGA plus 160, Luka third.
Where's
plus
Jaquez?
270. Yeah.
Go look at Six Man.
Keep scrolling.
We also have technically we have another vote. If we're just going off Zaz, there's only one. But Juju, every single time we do this, insists it will be Nikola Jokic. So if we want to add a second tally there, just to count all of Juju's insistence,
Leader in the clubhouse
we
right
could
now.
put him second on the medal stand.
MVP of the day.
It's a great song.
Right. Bro, can you imagine if we was out one night in the club and they dropped that on the speaker? Bro, I would lose my damn mind.
Lit.
Of the day.
That's what I'm talking about. Juju, who else stood out to you over the weekend?
Man, it was a lot going on this weekend. I just want to highlight yesterday's Bills game is what life is about. Think Mr. Megorium's Wonderful Emporium. Think Percy Jackson, Lightning Thief. Like, you get to watch that, and it happens in the snow. My goodness gracious. I thought we was going to lose 10 times. I ain't going to lie to you. But Josh Allen, Superman. But him having to be Superman should not be what we rely on. Neither here nor there. I got top 5 jokers from the weekend.
Okay,
brothers.
all right.
Yes, sir. OLI, a kid from Utah Tech got dunked on and then punched the boy who dunked on him. Like, brother.
You have to.
Okay.
I mean, I've
You
never.
gotta swing on him.
I've never been dunked on, but I think
That's
about
a
were
lie.
dunked
That's a
on. I think I'd consider punching a guy.
I got dunked on by Amari Stoudemire, and the only thing I can compare it to is like a sonic boom. Like I literally, he never touched me, but I fell back from
MOT?
just the impact.
Also, Dan earlier in New York, somebody get him in that scarf a damn room. Goodness gracious. Take the scarf off, bro. You keep playing with it. It's making me mad. Number 5. Number 5, Kevin Stefanski.
Oh,
Goodness.
my God.
What
was that
big
about?
brain on this, brother, man. Right. If it goes back to the delusional Shadur haters and fans. Like, brother, it was only right to just try Shedeur out there. If you don't like him, if you like him, let's see. Because, like Zaz said earlier, bro was kind of balling yesterday a little bit. You feel me? Like, it ain't his fault he played for the Browns, but at the same time, we would like to see that, Kev. So, yeah, man. Even Dan sometimes, how he be talking about Shedeur, he can't play. They got somebody who can't play quarterback. Bro can play, man. So
I mean, like Shedeur Sanders, he's got over 300 yards passing for the game, and with the game on the line, you know who should have to throw the ball? The running back. Weird.
Number 4, Joker of the weekend, the Indianapolis Colts for making Daniel Jones walk to the locker room.
That's
he
cold.
tore his Achilles and walked
cold.
all the way to.
He wanted to do the Kobe.
He came back out on the sideline with a boot.
Bruh. Sometimes
Warrior.
you got to save these folks from themselves, man. Like, come on, Dan. We need you next year, Danny Dimes. Number 3, Jokers of the weekend, the referees that took back that likely touchdown.
I don't think it was a touchdown.
They made it unlikely.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think so.
He caught it, took 2 steps, and then if it was in the field of play, would that have been a fumble?
No, I don't think it's a catch.
Oh.
And you know what? Based on his reaction, too, I don't think he thought it was a catch.
Oh, damn. Okay.
So he needed what, the third step would have done it for you? Because he was taking the third step when it was getting
The best
jarred
way
out.
that I could describe it to you, Tony, is I know it when I see it. All right? And that didn't look like a catch to me.
Number 2, Jokers of the weekend, the Washington Commanders for trotting broke arm Jaden Daniels out there.
How? I said in the weekend observations, Juju, it's like, lobotomy, questionable. Like, how that guy's got a dislocated elbow? How's he playing?
Gosh, they've
Poorly.
lost 8 in a row. I feel like all the goodwill that franchise built up last week,
blew it.
It's gone.
Mm-hmm. And the number 1 Joker they about to take over because the name of the Joker of the days were the Mario Cristobal Joker of the day because of that blunder, no timeout, taking these situation. Number 1, brothers, Notre Dame. How dare you? Brother, you going to pick up your ball and go play? No, we don't want to go. What about the kids at the end of the bench that's been supporting y'all all year? Give them kids a chance to play in the bowl game. Jeremiah Love ain't got to go out there. Y'all ain't got to take it as serious as y'all were going to, but give kids a chance. This is embarrassing as a school to me, in my opinion.
It's a great point. Like you're telling Jeremiah Love, who's going to go to the NFL, like you're telling Jeremiah Love, we know you thought you had one more game, but it's more important for us to be really annoyed.
Also, they get a bunch of free shit when they go to these bowl games, right? These kids, man, like all the swag.
Yeah.
I ain't getting the swag now, no backpack and some new sweats.
You get paid now, though.
I can't imagine going to a bowl game in which like the big crescendo is a Pop-Tart being lowered into a toaster.
I already told you. You watch what you say about the Pop-Tart. I went last year. It was a great
the
experience.
national title game last year. I get being
You
with
watch your
the
mouth.
energy that's like, I'm not going to go to that. I'm not going to indulge the Pop-Tart bowl.
That Pop-Tart gave its life for those kids.
I'm good with it, believe it or not.
Juju, let's get to some polls for the day.
Yes, sir. Did you know that there was an East Texas A&M? 74% of the audience says no, they didn't.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Right. How many Texas A&Ms are there? 73% of the audience says yes.
Yeah, I agree.
There's one in Qatar. That's what we learned too.
Also, listener of the day, right quick. The Stugotz Army from Twitter pulled up on my boy Zaz over the weekend. I see and gave you a Zazlo Show 2.0 hat, man.
That was awesome. He came up to our set for a college football campus tour, and he made Zazlo Show 2.0 hats, which was really awesome. I'm very
he didn't add the though the Zazlo Show 2.0.
That's right, because he knows he knows what's up.
If 2 teams in your conference championship are named after a guy, do they deserve to be in? 73% of the audience says no. Is it okay to front face someone while scooching past them to get back to your seat?
It's wild.
I agree, bruh. Exactly. 65% of the audience says no, it is not, though.
Because you remove the context of they wouldn't get up.
I mean, what if the person is standing? Will you front face them?
No.
Like your deals can touch.
No. If they're standing, then I respect them. I give them the respect back. If they disrespect me by sitting, I disrespect them with one of these across the face. No hands.
Wow.
And those are your polls. And I'd like to add at the end of this, too. This college football playoff controversy, it's good for business, though. Because the moment we don't have all of this controversy, man, it's boring and it's probably uninteresting. So salute to Notre Dame, but how dare you?